Welcome to Off the Post, brought to you by Team Toyota. I'm Russ Cohen. We've got Anthony Mingione. And how are you?
It's that old time of the year, Russ, where it feels like, people think it's Christmas, but could be trouble for some teams too. You never know.
Could be. And we have Mike Ogello. Mike, how are you?
It's free agent frenzy!
Wait, was that an actual car going by, or did you just do a sound effect?
No, that was Russ.
It was a car here.
That was perfect timing.
It was. I did not do a sound effect. And we have Dave Riker. Dave, how are you?
Russ, how you doing?
Good.
Amongst our cast of characters, we'll have.
So a couple of announcements. One of my best friends, Shane Malloy, just got hired by the St. Louis Blues. If you want to read about that, you can just go to my Twitter handle. Very nice for him. I mean, I've worked with him since 2001. A lot of iterations, a lot of shows, a million conversations, a lot of hard work by him. It's tough for me to say. I have to admit now that he's smarter than me, which really hurts.
But he always was. So.
No, but it hurts. That hurts a lot. But
it's always smarter than all of us. So
yeah, but that's okay. I mean, I'm really happy for him. And so the fallout from that is I am now the host of Hockey Prospect Radio. You could almost say again, because Shane was the host that most people know. But when we kind of first started, we messed around with me being the host and Shane being the analyst because he wanted to do more analyst work. Mm-hmm. And then it just kind of got flip-flop over time. And then I was there for 16 years and I wasn't for a little while. And now I'm back. So, if you're happy to hear me on Sirius, then you're going to hear me more. And if you're not happy to hear me on Sirius, then
you're going to hear me more.
Yeah, right.
So screw you. No, just kidding.
He's anywhere and everywhere.
Yes. Okay, so let's start with the. I just saw this contract, and we're not only free agent signings, but we're going to see extensions come down the pike. And the Demidov just got extended for I think it was the full 8. Let's see, is it 8 years? Yeah, it's 8 years.
8 by what?
8 for $57.6 million.
That's a deal, man.
Yeah.
So it's let's see here. No. Sorry, Shane is actually better. Is more smarter than me because he can actually add. And it's an 8-year deal, $57.6 million, but it's front loaded. So 57. That's a little over. That's wow. That's below 8.
Yeah, it's below 8. It's like 7 point whatever.
This is what I mean. Montreal. I mean, this is where Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton are really. They've locked up Hudson under 9. They've locked up Slavkovsky, Suzuki, Caulfield, now Demidov. They've got their core all taking less. This is like the Boston Bruins from years back, but it's not. I guess Russ, they're just buying into let's take a little less and let's all stay together and let's all win here. That's
that, and maybe his family needs money now, so they're like, okay, we'll front load it. We'll give you what we can now. This is what we think you're worth today. We know you'll be worth more in the future, but hey, this is a deal. And then for teams like the Flyers now have a limit to what they can pay Matvei Michkov, which is good for them. In a way, the Canadians did him a favor.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's a good cat, and in terms of if Mishkov's able to make a jump here in year 3,
right?
And that's he kind of has to after year 2.
Oh, yeah.
But then again, we talked about how a 50-point season is a floor for a player like Michkov, but
right.
This at least gives him the runway to know, okay, what is the upper.
Yeah,
what is the upper threshold on a long-term deal?
And to be honest, Demidov is better. Like I've said,
absolutely right. At the moment, Demidov.
No, but I think he'll be better for his career.
He may be. Again, I'm not arguing. Again, it's still early in both players' careers, and it's a very good chance that he will be. But at least it also gives Michkov, if that has that motivation, that constant target to go for.
Yeah.
In
now,
circumstance.
Puckpedia is saying that the contract is an AAV of 9.125. So if you look at so I don't know what I think
that's fancy math there, man. How's that?
No, I think the 57.6 million was signing bonus. I think that's what it was.
Oh,
but
okay.
so 9.125. That's pretty much on par with Hudson and with
yeah, I mean that's what he's worth. That I mean
in terms of percentage of cap. So okay, let's just say this right now because. The word ridiculous. I wish we had a drinking game for ridiculous, Dave, because I think we'd be drunk by 1:30 because you're going to see some ridiculous numbers. But the thing is, you have to it's sort of suspension of disbelief because the cap is going up, and a guy like, say, for example, somebody we know, Michael Kesselring, who got signed on the weekend, coming off a season that was a disaster for him, where he was hurt 3 times, where he had 2 assists in 34 games and played 4 minutes in the playoffs. His salary tripled with the San Jose Sharks. He's making 4.5 times 3 years. And Dave, the Bowen Byram contract, $12.5 million. He's making more than Rasmus Dahlin. What do you think about that one?
I mean, it's surprising when you look at these prices, but when you really look at what you said, Mike, what the cap is going up to. But even though Bowen Byram is the best defenseman on the Chicago Blackhawks, it seems like an exorbitant contract, really.
Now, okay, we'll go around the horn here because I just want to touch on the Sabres for a second because I wrote something for the Hockey News about Byram and about Kesselring. But here's the thing. I give Jarmo a lot of credit for making the deal that he made for Byram because his back was against the wall because Byram had a year left and was going to go UFA. So to get the 4th overall pick and Crevier and a 2nd-round pick, which they turned into Owen Zellweger, who they just signed today for $3 million times 3 years, that's pretty good business. Getting a 3rd-round pick for Alex Tuch, Alex Tuch was going to go someplace else, so we know, that was a fait accompli. Okay, so he did 2 good things. They're not better. They're worse. And what Jarmo has to do now is pivot and, help his team out now because they won the Atlantic Division, but I think they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot right now unless they make some additions.
I would agree with that, Mike. Without additions, with the way the Atlantic Division is now, I don't think the Sabres make the playoffs with the roster that they have right now.
Right. Now, Anthony, let's start with Philadelphia because I know that you had mentioned.
Well, Mike, can I say one thing about Byram?
Yeah, please.
Because I just want people to remember, like in the 2021 World Juniors, the top pairing in the World Juniors was Bowen Byram and Jamie Drysdale. They were the top pairing. And Bowen Byram's never had a chance to play that based on the teams he's been on. So it's not like nobody ever thought of him that way. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, okay. A minute ago, Elliot Friedman reports Eric Halla signs 2-year deal with the LA Kings.
Yeah, it was thoughts about it for about an hour or so that was going to be likely with LA.
Which means Scott Lawton is going someplace else.
Yeah, Scott Martin's going. He's going to do well. He's going to have a nice contract coming his way, no question.
Now, and I know we talked, and now we can talk about it because Maverick Bourque was dealt to Nashville. We were talking about Maverick Bourque as a possible option for the Flyers. I mean, where do you think? I mean, all of a sudden, I think LeBron about an hour ago said, don't be surprised if we see a Claude Giroux return to Philadelphia on a 1 or maybe 2-year deal. What's your feel on the Flyers right now?
At the moment, again, we're trying to make a major upgrade from the center position. I think that at this point now, Bourque was probably going to be it. His name had been bandied about quietly a little bit, and then the noise became a little louder in the last few days, certainly since the draft ended, about Bourque as a possibility. The Flyers, from what it sounds like, were pretty aggressive. I know Marco D'Amico stated that the Philly had had probably was the offer right behind what Nashville had. But again, I think Philadelphia would have been perfectly happy to acquire Bourque. The thing that was the hang up on the deal was Ilya Lyubushkin being included in there. And I don't think the Flyers wanted to absorb that contract in order to get Bourque on board. The trade cost was about what I figured it was going to be in this circumstance. But yeah, that kind of takes the Flyers out of, in terms of, I think, unless they get very creative and find, during the summer, they find a center opportunity. At center, it's probably going to be one of the depth forwards. You might be looking at a Nola Acciari. You might be looking at a Colton Sissons potentially if you're trying to add center depth, I think, for Philadelphia. There's a chance. I thought
a while back, I said they should have added Dickinson because he has that speed and physicality, but he got re-signed. So
exactly, he might have been an option, but again, if he gets re-signed, that's the way it goes. So I think certainly Sissons is exiting, just as Bourque is, of course, coming in Nashville. So, but if you're acquiring a depth center who can play a little of different multiple positions, That's probably one of the directions where Philadelphia is going. I anticipate also they're going to sign probably a physical, I don't want to say enforcer type, but kind of an enforcer type, especially now that Garnet Hathaway is going. They did sign yesterday Carl Grundstrom to a 1-year deal, but he's more of a skilled forechecker, not a guy necessarily you want to drop in the gloves. But I would anticipate, I would not be surprised if a Ross Johnston they bring on board. Another possibility might be Jeffrey VL, could be another potential player that they're looking at. Defense gets interesting for Philadelphia right now. I know Jackie Spiegel from the Inquirer had mentioned Ville Heinola as a possibility.
I don't think I wouldn't be.
I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing that one out there. I think the Flyers would probably prefer a better upgrade. I did mention before Jacob Trouba being obviously going to market. If he's looking to come back east.
The only problem with Trouba is you slow down the lineup with him.
That's my one concern in that circle.
He does everything else you want him to, but
he does exactly. And again, if they're looking at a short-term deal in that regard, but to wheel to Giroux. Yeah, Giroux to me would have to be, again, a one. At this point now, most of his deals with Ottawa have been 1-year deals.
Correct.
I can't see Philadelphia doing more, or anybody really doing more than that. Yeah. And it's purely, again, in this circumstance, I think a player that you could kind of move him up and down the lineup a little bit. You might be looking at, you would put him out there certainly with his experience as a power play guy. He had a good year last year with Ottawa, so I think he would probably get some opportunities, certainly on the left wing. You're not going to play him at center, but maybe here spot center here and there. But for the most part,
he might still be their best face-off guy.
He could very well be in this circumstance.
Face-off guys in the NHL last year, but
he might. I mean, it's possible in this circumstance they might decide to use him at center. Maybe on the power, it could very well be on, especially offenses
on the power play for sure. Yeah,
I could see that happening on the power play. But again, there's nothing official yet. I'm sure there is competition for him, but I don't think Pierre LeBrun puts that out there without thinking. And I think he's pretty connected with Giroux's camp. So I guarantee you that that's something that could very well come to fruition very shortly.
I think he's pretty connected with Giroux since they're from the same hometown.
Yeah. So. The only thing I would say on this is the danger.
Update here real quick. Colton Sissons actually is signing with the Leafs, according to Pagnotta, and Ross Johnson is signing with the Blues. So the Blues made at least 2 acquisitions today, right?
Yeah, Shane and Ross.
So both guys are not both.
Could have been Shane and Russ. They didn't call me. Instead of Shane and Ross.
So Sissons, I mean, okay, I think Sissons is that third line, fourth line center that apparently Jim Hiller was looking for. They probably didn't want to go and spend the kind of money that they would have had to spend on Lawton. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see, what he gets paid. Now, he had 2 really decent offensive years with Nashville, 23 and 24, 12 goals, 15 goals, then dropped off his last year in Nashville, 7 goals, and then 6 goals in 66 games with Vegas. So we're not talking a dynamic offensive guy here. He's probably fourth line guy.
He's fourth line.
Right. Maybe, Russ, I mean, I just talked to somebody who said, internally with the Leafs, they loved what they saw out of Jacob Quillen in the Calder Cup playoffs and recognized that he can play higher in the lineup. So, maybe it's.
Yeah, we've been talking about him for half that season, just like killing the Leafs and Berube on usage.
So maybe
for sure.
Maybe your third line with the Leafs, based on what the other things that they do in free agency, your third line might be a speedy line with Easton Cowan and Jacob Quillen, who played well in the Calder Cup playoffs.
Yeah, they do well to put that together.
Yeah. Now, let
me go back to Giroux for 1 sec. So the only thing I would say is there's one thing I said last year about midseason that. This whole plan of getting like 25 and under players is pretty much over. The minute they sign Claude Giroux, if they do it, it's over. Like there's no more they could say that we're getting just young guys. We're doing just that because you're now getting a guy in his late 30s.
They were signaling that there was some signals though that they were looking to add some veterans to offer to with
but
all
they didn't do it. So it's like they still were kind of like riding that other wave. Then now I think. The plan, once that happens, the plan is clearly changed then. It's like it's no more like, hey, we're just looking for young talent. Now they're just looking for talent.
But again, if you're talking about somebody who's on a 1-year deal, Russ, I'm not.
Let's say if it's a 2-year deal. If they make it a 2-year
deal. We don't know.
Deal.
Again, if it's a 2-year deal, we'll see. But if it ends up being a 1-year deal, which is what the pattern has been for him.
Yeah.
then I don't think you can really I think you could just say basically they're having him on board as, a veteran player who honestly is who obviously understands the market. He does, obviously, living here for so many years, but
yeah. And he never got a car stolen in Philly. He did in
that's the thing. He goes back to Philly. That streak will, that will hopefully end for him, I hope.
Well, okay, so the one thing about Giroux as tied to other veteran players, a lot of them like Giroux, who I think is 37 or 38 years old.
38, I think.
Yeah, Kane is 36 or 37 years old. They're going to take 1-year deals with incentives. That's what Kane has taken the last 2 years in Detroit. That's probably what Giroux is going to take, and that's probably what Kane is going to take. Wherever.
Unless somebody's dumb enough to get in 2 years, Mike, he'll take that.
Oh, sure. I'm sure they'll take it, but I think since they're so old, the only guy who's old,
and I mean for Kane, dumb enough for 2 years. I think could play for 2 years. I just wouldn't give him that contract.
The only guy who's old right now who's going to get more than 1 year, and I think it's stupid, is Sergei Bobrovsky. And it sounds like everybody is reporting he's going to Toronto.
Well, John Carson's old.
Some news here again from LA. Looks like, according to Emily Kaplan, all signs are pointing to Matt Zuccarello signing with the LA Kings.
Boy, the Kings are just piling on players. It's just like, Mike.
It would be wild. It would be wild, Russ, if the Flyers signed Giroux and Scott Lawton.
All right, so
that would be wild if that happened.
I'm going to put a thumbtack in that for a sec. But I even forget now what I was going to say before that. But
I ruined it for you. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Kane.
Oh, yeah, no, just Mike. There is an old player that got a big contract or is getting it, and that's John Carlson's getting like 3 years. It looks like.
Yeah. Well,
which is insane.
Now, did they announce it?
No, but I'm just saying that's going to happen, and that's insanity. Now, Ant, going back to that, the fan base as a whole does not like that.
Doesn't like what?
If they were to get Giroux and Lawton, they don't.
No, they got both of them. They probably would have a certain.
They're going to say something.
Giroux, I think it would be. I think it's a fit. Again, it would depend as very much on what they're signing him for, the role that he's in, and for how long on the contract.
Right.
The term, obviously, the cap it will be an interesting part as well. But it's again, if he's got multiple people competing for him in the market, we'll see what happens in that regard.
Right.
But again, if it still ends up being a short-term thing, it can't be more than 1 to 2 years based off of his age. I think people would be kind of like, okay, I guess you kind of wonder with him how much influence at this point now would he have kind of over the room? Would his personality be such where would it kind of would it affect the room itself? You have already Sean Couturier there, right? You have Sean Couturier as the team captain. But to me, at this point of his career, it's difficult if you're already on short term to be able to. The only thing you should be doing now is influencing and showing young players the right way to do it.
I went back and I looked at Instat, Mike, real quick. I looked at Instat for Maverick Bourque, and so he only averaged 15 minutes a game. He only averaged 2.9 shots a game. He was 47% on faceoffs. Like, unless Nashville's giving him like 19 minutes a game and second line center, I don't know how much higher he could go in his production. And that's what Nashville has to figure out. That's all.
Let's talk about the two contracts that were signed by Florida. The Luostarinen deal, which I think was a 6-year. No, excuse me, it's an 8-year deal, I believe. It's
8-year deal.
Yeah, I'm just looking up right now.
Oh my god,
till 2035. So yeah, it's an 8-year deal or 7. Let's see, 2026. Okay, he's on the final year of his three-year deal right now. So starting in 2027, that's 28. It's a 7-year deal for $5 million AAV. And then they signed Radko Gudas for 6 years at $1.5 million.
Okay, for 1.5 for Gudas, it's bad term, but I get the price.
Well, I mean, they're probably front loading it, and he's probably going to retire in a couple years, and then I don't know if it falls off or if they. I mean, 1.5 is like tip money when the cap is up to 100.
Right. I'll say this about Luostarinen. Obviously, they love him, but $5 million for a 30-point center, like. good defensively.
They love that. They love that third.
Unless
line.
they're anticipating potentially after a year or two making certain movements here, Russ, and he moves a little further. He moves up in the lineup, but certain guys get moved. I think that's what you're probably thinking about here if you're Florida.
Can he do that? I don't know if he can do that.
Well,
Again, it may, based off the fact they've signed him now to a longer term a contract as they have here. He has to be considered an option at this point.
but Dave, here's the thing. Again,
No, I
We've
think
seen-
he'll be considered an option. I just don't know if he'll be good at it.
Dave, we've seen Beck Mallenstein get a 6-year deal at just under $3 million. And I'm not casting aspersions on Beck Mallenstein, but he's not that good. He's a good fourth line winger. He's a penalty killer. He's good.
Oh, there's been a development here, according to Dave Pagnotta. Carolina isn't fully out yet, but John Carlson is now exploring other options. Philadelphia and Tampa Bay also in the mix. So
See, okay, here's the thing.
interesting.
Paying Carlson.
He's just driving up the price on Tom Dundon. That's what
I would think so. Yeah, that's what this reads as to me. But it says that they're fully at this. But again, this is also going to be Tulsky's call on this too.
well, but
He's
okay,
looking at it and going, he's not willing to do this. But Philly may also be pivoting because they just, again, if they're Flyers have been linked up with Carlson for a while, and it sounded like they were backed out. But it's true, he may be playing either side. But again, it's not as if Carolina gave up a lot to get negotiating rights here. They were a pick and a prospect who they got back. Masters is back with them. They traded and got him back.
well,
So
but here's the thing. I mean, okay, we know Carlson.
John
We know
Carlson.
that John Carlson is a depreciating asset. He's still a good player, but he's what, 37 years old.
Yeah. Mhm.
He had a good year last year, but it didn't work in Anaheim, and he didn't want to stay out in the West Coast.
Yeah.
It's not like he's in an enviable position that he can ask for $10 million a year, which has been out there for a couple weeks. And I'm like, who's friggin' insane enough to pay him $10 million for 2 years?
Anthony?
Well, the Flyers?
No, let Anthony answer. Go ahead. You muted yourself.
You still have.
My mic got knocked out. Sorry.
Okay.
Anthony, who could be insane enough, as Mike said, to pay that price?
Give me the number again because the thing came
$10
off.
million a
$10
year.
million a year.
10 million for 2?
Yeah.
2 years, Philly will do it.
So
For- On a 2-year deal, Philadelphia absolutely would do 10 mil. They won't do 3 years, but they'll do 2.
There you go, Mike. You asked the
Yeah,
question.
absolutely. That's been talked about. I've been talking about that. With something I know Charlie O'Connor and I had talked about it previously. He talked about it on PHLY podcast about 2 years at 10 mil on a short-term deal for John Carlson to help the power play. They'll do that.
It reminds me of that song by Cypress Hill, "Insane in the Membrane." And
But again, at
I mean,
2
you watch
years
the
at that
playoffs.
number and he's still playing, that's something that, again, under 2 years, I think they would Philadelphia do it. I don't think they would do 3 years, but you just never know.
If you watch the playoffs, you would never say.
No,
you would never
listen.
do that.
First round for that in that circumstance. Second round when they were up against Vegas, then certainly that was a concern. But Philly isn't in a spot here where, with their power play being as bad as it is, you also look at Carlson as a bit of a coach on the ice so that for some of the younger defensemen who are going to be coming up, there are things that they can learn from Carlson as well. And that's kind of, I think, how Philadelphia looks at it, that it could be a performance thing, but it also can be hey, these are the things that you do on the power play that has success.
Emily Kaplan is reporting Victor Arvidsson heading to Detroit. Okay, Dave, we saw Arvidsson for the Bruins during the playoffs. He scored a couple goals against the Sabres in that Game 2 victory for the Bruins. He had a pretty good year. Again, another Stan Bowman stupidity where he dumps off Arvidsson from Edmonton, and he actually has a good year. The problem is this doesn't solve any problems for Detroit. This is just another veteran guy that they're probably getting on the cheap. I don't think this is going to like all of a sudden sway Dylan Larkin to say, "Oh, gee, we're staying in Detroit because we got Victor Arvidsson, folks."
And he was hurt too later in the series against the Sabres, and like you said, had a really good year for the Bruins, but it's not the kind of signing that's going to change anything in Detroit.
Now, the low hanging fruit that we haven't talked about, and we have to address it, is the Werenski situation. So, and it sounds like, okay, he doesn't want to go west.
Mhm.
That's why. Now that would have been a great deal for Dallas. I mean, you know, in sense that I don't know. Oh, I like Harley a lot, and the
No, it was to me, that deal from Columbus's perspective was perfect.
right.
It really was. And Thomas Harley, you slot him immediately as your 1D. He can absolutely handle that role, certainly in Columbus.
Yeah.
Would have been a great move. But again, I think the deal would have happened. But again, the player is the one who makes the call. And that's the thing about a no movement, no trade clause is, at the end of the day, the player makes the call. So that takes Dallas out of the mix here.
Right now, okay. Here's the thing that's interesting, because everybody last night, like late 1 a.m.
Late o'clock. You could say late o'clock.
Late o'clock.
8 o'clock's a new time.
Late o'clock. There you go. We're reporting that it's Toronto and Tampa, and didn't say any other teams, but I think they're hedging their bets and saying that other teams might be able to get involved. But I was told by somebody who had some sources on this that, because if you put those two teams side by side in terms of who could make the better offer, Toronto would be able to make the better offer than Tampa, because Tampa right now, the only logical, unless somebody's waiving their no move, to go to Columbus, which I seriously doubt. The best offer they could make is JJ Moser and Sam O'Reilly.
Yeah.
The Leafs would be able to offer Matthew Nyes and something in a deal for Columbus. But I was told Columbus does not. It's not that they don't want Nyes, because Nyes is not good. They want a defenseman. So, but I don't think Moser moves the ball.
They may be moving off of that, Mike. That's the whole thing.
That's the thing that might be getting moved. And whether or
I
not
think Don Waddell
would Ben Danford get them to move?
No, but I do think what has been reported, and you know, we know how infrequent three-way deals are here, but you know, you've got a situation like Carolina with Nikishin, who they're clearly not going to pay him big money, unless now they may pay him money because they are moving off of Carlson. You know, maybe that's somebody that Columbus is interested in, or maybe you can make a three-way deal between them and Dallas, where Harley goes to Columbus, Nyes goes to Dallas, and Werenski goes to Toronto. I mean, there is workable things here, but I just don't know whether the Leafs can pull this off if clearly they don't want Nyes. If they, you know, because Nylander's not waiving his no move clause, and then
no, but I don't think that's going to be the stumbling block. But here, Mike, just be careful, because I got dragged on Twitter the other day. There's a 30-second clip that I said on Locked On Flyers, because I said I heard Werenski, like, he wants to go to the Leafs. I didn't know. I don't forget what terminology I used, and I said, so Flyers fans, don't look forward to getting Werenski, because it's not going to happen.
Right.
And this guy was a Flyers fan, and he decided to drag me, and he said, "You're never right." And I said, "I told you, Vladar, we get a 5-year deal. He's getting a 5-year deal." He didn't want to hear that. But the other part was, I was like, look, I don't have any sources. I was at the draft, and this is what was going around at the draft in circles. And he didn't want to hear it. And so, like, if it happens, hey, this is what happens in this industry, Mike. But, you know, I just wanted to point it out, because it's like,
yeah, oh no,
we all know that he wants to play with Austin Matthews. There is no bones about it. He has friends in other places, but
Sure.
that's the guy he wants to play with.
Real quick, just a few more signings that have come in. Sam Ersson has signed 2 years, $2.2 million with Ottawa, so he will be back up
Per year or total?
what's that?
Per year or total?
2.2 million AAV. You got a 2.2 million AAV.
I wouldn't do that.
That was the signing that they made. The other one was Mason Marchment's and the San Jose, 5 years with a $7 million AAV for Mason Marchment.
He was one of the top 3 or 4 forwards in this class. So I mean,
Yeah.
Mason Marchment going back.
Cole Smith, I believe, also with Chicago is going to the Blackhawks 3 times 3.
Yeah, Mason Marchman going back to where his dad played the majority of his career in San Jose.
And Jaden Schwartz also is headed to the Avalanche on a 3-year deal. Don't have the numbers just yet, but Jaden Schwartz is an Avalanche.
That's a big swing because if he stays healthy, we know how talented he is, but he always has that trouble.
But I'm happy for Marchman. He's somebody who's on the Leafs radar, but like I said, his dad played the majority of his career in San Jose, and maybe
the linkage was obviously there. And again, for a young team like San Jose,
he's a protector of the Celebrinis and the
yeah.
I would think in 2-3 days, Robertson's going to re-sign in Dallas. That's what's going to happen.
I think so. Now that was the objective here. I think. I mean, it's still not done, but it's
now that they cleared the Labushkin contract, and
and we all talked about that. We talked about
whatever
it on the show.
Was going to get. Yeah, they're going to have space now.
I want to say 2 weeks ago we talked about it. You brought it up.
It felt that way. It always felt like the couple times that he was going to he was told to go out and look and didn't want to do it. It was like Robertson wants to stay in Dallas, but he wants it close enough to his number. Now we thought maybe 14 mil. Then maybe I think he came to maybe around 12.
12 and a half, 13.
And I think it's probably where at the end of the day, once they figure things out, it ends up. It's going to be interesting to see how J-Rob is looked at by the Dallas fan base now, because because as such doing that contract and the yo-yoing that goes back and forth. But again, this is his long-term
I mean, he won't be looked
contract.
at like Dak Prescott because he's not making that much money.
Yeah, it's not that bad. That's very true, Russell.
No, just tied to Jason Robertson, was particularly irked at the fact that the Leafs traded Nick Robertson, and shock of shocks, they traded him to Kyle Dubas and Wes Clark in Pittsburgh.
I'm actually happy for him, Mike, because he'll get a chance.
Yeah, he'll probably end up playing with Crosby or with Malkin or whoever. The guy scored in limited ice time. He scored average 15 goals a year for the last 3 seasons, playing 12 minutes a night. Is he defensively? Is he a liability? He's, to use Stratomatic terminology, he's about a 2 on defense, which is average. But he's
for anybody under the age of 50, it's not great.
Right. Stratomatic anymore. But the point is that he has worked on being more durable. He has worked on being better defensively. And the Leafs had 2 more years with him before he was an unrestricted free agent, and they jettisoned him for a 4th round pick. I think it was a bad move. But if you look at their lineup from last year, Michelli is gone. Waugh and Lawton and Robertson, and I mean they're moving. You're going to probably see 8 to 10 new players on the Leafs roster. And today we still haven't seen any details on this Colton Sissons contract, but I have a feeling it's probably going to be one of those 5 or 6 year deals for a lower AAV. If they're paying him anything more than $3 million, that like a Beck Mallenstein deal, then I think it was a bit of bad business.
Is this like a divining mark now? The Beck Mallenstein deal? Like, is this now? Are we going to be talking about this forever now? Well, if he gets Beck Mallenstein money,
well, Russ, it's a benchmark. It's a fourth line guy who scored 7 goals last year, and he got $3 million a year. This is the new normal.
Can we just say not everybody gets good deals? Like Anthony may get a pair of sneakers $20 cheaper than me because he spent a little more time researching them. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's all this is.
My wife would love to hear you say that, by the way, about me doing that much research for shoes.
Okay, Dave, I want to ask you, because the Connor Hellebuck rumors to Buffalo have not ceased. I don't see a path to this happening because they don't have the 4th overall pick anymore. They're not going to trade Rudolph now that they've drafted him. There was supposedly a package that involved the number 4 pick and Luukkonen and maybe Jack Quinn. And then apparently Winnipeg asked for Mertka on top of it. And that's when Jarmo hung up the phone. I mean, do you see any way that they're going to go back to this? I mean, I don't know if I see a logical pathway for them to get Hellebuck.
I really thought that if it was going to happen, Mike, it was going to happen at the draft,
right,
when they still had the assets to move. But it sounds like the Sabres really want the player, and maybe what they're looking at is if they have that bona fide number one goaltender, then that will help mitigate the loss of a guy like Alex Tuch.
Yes,
in terms of goals.
You're rolling the dice that Kulich and Ostlund and Hellenius can make up the 44 goals that were lost when they lost Byram and they lost Tuch. Now Zellweger, he'll probably score 5 or 6 goals, but you're asking a lot for those 3 players to make up 33 goals up front. I mean, one of them is probably gonna have to score 20 to 25 goals. I mean, it's possible. I like all 3 of them. I mean, Hellenius looked like he could step into the lineup and be effective, but he's still 20 years old. You don't know what, and you don't know, like with Lindy, I know he likes Kulich taking faceoffs and playing on that top line with Tage Thompson. It would probably necessitate Thompson moving to the wing, which might not be a bad thing, but he likes to play center. So, I mean, it's very interesting what Buffalo is going to do. I keep attaching them to Boone Jenner because of Yarmo's connection to him and the loss of leadership. I know that supposedly Toronto was interested in Jenner, but I don't know whether, the Sissons move, means that
I think that's the low cost answer to that.
Cost. Yeah. And
what about, like with Winnipeg? What about looking for like Samuelson, UPL, and a first, like a future first?
Samuelson's got a no trade, so I think he'd block it to go.
Oh, he's got a no trade. Okay.
Everybody's got a no trade.
Yeah. So that's.
Yeah, everybody. There's so many no trades factored into contracts now. It really handcuffs general managers in that way.
It's an absolute friggin' pipe dream. You can say it on social media till you're blue in the face. There's like 245 partial no trade, full no trade, or no move things in the NHL. Good luck trying to get that in collective bargaining on the new CBA. There'll be a lockout for 3 years on that.
And a little update from Anthony DeMarco now. Sounds like Philadelphia isn't close on John Carlson. Belief is he's going elsewhere. I'm guessing Tampa.
Yeah.
Now, if Carlson goes to Tampa, then that takes Tampa out of Werenski because they won't have the cap space.
Correct. And that could very well mean we could be looking at a Toronto-Philadelphia face-off for Zach Werenski. And again, I would put the edge to Toronto in this circumstance with all the connections. So
now the thing is, and I think Philadelphia could offer the better package, but
they could, but again, it's got to come down at the end of the day. It's going to come down to where Zach wants to go. It's as simple as that.
Where Zach wants to go and the package that is being sent, because clearly Waddell does not want futures. He does not. Like Toronto's first round pick would be very enticing if Columbus was a rebuilding team.
Yeah.
But the appetite in Columbus right now, especially on top of the fact that not only Werenski's asking out, but Marchenko is asking out, they have to make hockey deals and get players to come back because I'm not saying that franchise is going to move out of Columbus, but do you think the fan base is tired of them constantly rebuilding every 2 or 3 years because these players want out? I mean, it sucks. I would hate to be a Columbus Blue Jackets fan.
A little extra news here. Corey Perry is heading to the Los Angeles Kings.
He's going back to LA.
Oh he got the Carl Grundstrom contract. 1 year, $1 million.
Which, you know what that means? That means he will be traded by the deadline back to. I'm surprised. Maybe Toronto didn't want to slow their lineup down any more than it was, but I thought there was a possibility that Perry has always been on Toronto's radar and then never has followed through. I do think there's a very good chance that Patrick Kane ends up in Toronto. Dave, WGR this morning were theorizing about Patrick Kane in Buffalo. You and I both know, and I'm not going to say the reasons why, but you and I both know Patrick Kane will never play a game in Buffalo. He will never sign with the Sabres.
I agree, Mike. I think it's unlikely. I think he had opportunities in the past to sign here, and he chose not to. Now, from the Sabres' viewpoint, could he help the power play, certainly I think he could.
Yeah.
And I mean, defensively, I don't know how Lindy would feel about that part of his game.
Oh,
But
he'd have to massage it. I mean, he'd probably be playing on the second line, but then like late in the game have to be taken off that line because defensive liability. He's always been a defensive.
Mike, here's what I would have as a deal. I think Hellebuck could go to New Jersey. And New Jersey,
That's been talked about. Yeah.
and I could see like Timo Meyer, Seamus Casey, and like a first.
Dawson Mercer.
I don't know about
think they'll trade
Meyer.
Mercer.
I don't think so. I think Meyer is a player that I think is kind of one of those guys that Sonny Meta likes. You know,
it's either Meyer or Mercer.
For them.
It would be one of them. It'd be Meyer or Mercer.
Mercer, I think it would be Mercer before Meyer. That's
Meyer's got a no move clause. There's
there you go. So that also plays into it as well.
So Mercer. So yeah, I could see them doing that because again, they unloaded Markstrom and Jake Allen's not going to be the starter.
I know what Russ is going to say and what Anthony's going to say right now. But okay, if they don't get Hellebuck, and it's musical chairs, and all of a sudden the music stops, and New Jersey doesn't have a goaltender. Sonny Meta, former Florida assistant GM, is Bobrovsky an answer there? Is Anthony Stolarz there?
No.
A New Jersey native Anthony Stolarz, possibly. I think he is, Russ.
I don't think so. I think they might play Nico Dawes more because he started to play a little more last year. And I think they would start the season that way, say, hey, Jake, you're going to take on a bigger role to start the season, and then look at what they can get at the deadline. I don't think they would take on Stolarz, and I don't think they would take on Bob. That's just my feeling.
A couple other moves here as well. Trevor Van Riemsdyk is headed to the Penguins in free agency. Also, veteran Ian Cole on a 1-year, $4 million contract that could go up to $4.75 million with performance bonuses. Cole's going to the Blackhawks per Frank Saravalli.
I mean, did Frank get traded with with Ian Cole, or was it just Ian Cole?
Frank's not going to Chicago.
Ryan
Lomberg.
Frankly speaking, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Ryan Lomberg, 2-year deal, $1.3 million to Columbus.
So he's going to Columbus, okay? Because I know I know there have been some talk about a couple places for him, but he's going to Columbus. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Ian Cole at this point is strictly a defensive defense, but he's getting $4 million.
Well, I mean, but Russ, we've acknowledged the issues.
Oh, yeah.
We have a trade. The Rangers have acquired Joonas Korpisalo from Boston in exchange for a 2028 4th-round pick and Kalle Väisänen.
Okay, you know what that tells us? Michael DiPietro will be the backup to Jeremy Swayman in Boston this year.
Yeah, it sounds like that's what got cleared out there. There's interest in Eeli Tolvanen, it's according to Dave Pagnotta, but nothing at the moment. He's weighing
interested in him.
What's that? No, it says he's weighing plenty of interest.
Okay, so all around the league.
So nothing close at the moment. He's weighing offers that are in the 4 to 5 year range for.
He's one of the youngest unrestricted free agents out there at 7 years old. It's funny that like we talked about Anthony, you and I talked about Bobby Brink out there because he didn't get qualified by Minnesota. Yeah. You said he's probably going to go back to Minnesota. It was just not.
I believe it was it announced yet or not yet?
Yeah, it was announced yesterday.
It was announced yesterday. He was staying there.
1 year, $2.25 million.
Yeah, that's a solid kind of prove it contract for him. So,
but there were other 20 somethings out there like Tolvanen, like Paul Cotter.
Yeah.
If there are teams out there.
Cotter, wow.
I know, Russ, but he had 16 goals a couple of years ago, and a team might roll the dice on something.
I know, but now you sound like David Stearns for the Mets. Well, 2-3 years ago, he had 20 homers.
Yeah, the difference is I don't suck, and he does.
Well, okay, that's fair.
Thank you.
I have to say that just off the heels of Stephen Cohen saying, hey, we're going to look at all these options, but David Stearns living out that 5-year deal. So Cohen isn't moving off of that, but they should get somebody else in there.
What does this tell you? What does this tell you about Corey Perry, that he goes back to the team that he signed with and was traded by last year, dumped at the deadline? He played in Anaheim all those years. So he likes Southern California. He probably has a home out there, and he's willing to take less to play there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's I mean, and he'll end up getting traded to Florida or something like that at the deadline, because his salary is low. Let's see here. Jonathan Berggren signed a 1-year extension with St. Louis. Lomberg, we already mentioned.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Anything new? Now, this is like, I don't know. I mean, we're sort of waiting. Toronto is the one that we're sort of waiting on.
Here's another one. Ilya Mikheyev is signing a 4-year contract with the Lightning. This is coming from Dan Milstein, his agent.
Okay.
I don't know what the terms are yet, but he's definitely a 4-year deal with Tampa.
It can't be expensive because they don't have a lot.
We didn't mention. Put it this way: if the agent doesn't, Milstein made sure to mention Vladar's number when he put out his press release. He did not put the number for Mikheyev, so you obviously can figure that out.
And I like Mikheyev as a bottom 6 guy. He's a PK guy. He's a good penalty killer. He's not going to score you a ton of goals like somebody in the chat just said, but he is really fast. So I mean,
speed is a big deal now.
Speed is a big deal. You can put him on a 3rd or 4th line with Zemgus Girgensons or Nick Paul or the collection. Yanni Gorda isn't exactly.
Don't worry, he's going to pop for 25 under John Cooper. They'll figure out a way.
we like if Michael Kessel.
Amazing what those Tampa palm trees will do.
If he plays with Kucherov, he'll get 20.
If Michael Kessel went to Tampa Bay, he'd probably win the Norris Trophy because they just find a way to. Darren Radish all of a sudden went to Lourdes and found his magic hands and his 100-mile-an-hour shot.
Source of mine just kind of got back to me with regards to the Forster contract. Sounds like it's going to be. It's either 7 to 7.1 on there. Charlie O'Connor mentioned 7.1. It says provided that the shoulder isn't a lingering issue, is a huge bargain. But
I thought it was bicep and then shoulder. Right?
Yeah, it said, but I do worry about his shoulders. I do worry about his shoulders.
Absolutely.
But again, it was funny. I mentioned this morning when Bill was discussing Werenski contracts this morning, and I was looking at it and saying, well, here's the thing. You've got, if they're weighing out Nyes versus Forster, Nyes has the cost certainty.
Right.
Yeah. Well, now so does Forster. But I don't think this is an intention of. I mean, it is curious now that contract comes into play now, and the number is kind of set. So, and again, he's still on 1 year remaining under the current contract.
Right.
So now all of a sudden, I don't think the Flyers would do this, but Forster now becomes a bit. Now that he has cost certainty, does he become an asset that Philadelphia could use if they're trying to get Werenski?
I just look at them side by side, and maybe this is my Toronto bias, and I think Forster's a really good player, but I think the injury questions are something that would give Nyes a little bit of a.
Nyes would get a little edge because of that, and as far as
and the physicality, Nyes is a big power.
But Forster can be physical too, and he's good on defense. What I would say this, and I don't think Waddell wants another guy with term, even though it's cost certainty, because he has to sign Fantilli.
Rasmus Anderson, 7 years at 8.5.
That was exactly what everybody thought, right?
Yeah.
And the Forster, by the way, the Forster contract looks like it's going to become imminent because the Flyers just sent out a shootout goal of Tyson Forster with googly eyes.
Right.
So
Where did he go?
Yeah, but
Kevin Weeks doesn't have the market cornered on googly eyes?
Guess not.
No.
Mike, where did he go? Where did Rasmus Anderson go? Or is it still Vegas?
We re-signed with Vegas.
See, that's what we said all along.
So the contract was in the desk, like everybody thought. Now
we thought that.
The only thing was we thought it would be 8 years. Maybe he lost a year because of the way he played in the playoffs, which was
he didn't have a great playoffs, but Vegas is kind of stuck. Like this is how they have to sort of maintain their team.
Can I just say that Vegas is in trouble because they had to trade off Dorofeev, who scored 35 and 37 goals the last 2 years. Who's putting the puck in the net?
We always say this.
I know.
We say this, that Vegas is in trouble. Right. And they find what Russ, explain it to him. Why is Vegas not in trouble?
At some point, we have to be right.
I know. Okay. So at some point,
the clock missed the playoffs They did miss the playoffs 1 year, not that long ago.
Right.
The playoffs. I'm just saying.
Well, what is it that they do, Russ?
No, they They draft well, they trade well, they whatever assets they had, they managed to get the most out of. They have guys recruit for them behind the scenes. Like they do all of that.
By the way, somebody in the chat, Cap Media, says you can't sign players to 8-year deals anymore. That goes until September 15th, not July 1st. So,
right. Yeah, you got to be aware of that. So that's why a lot of teams are going to try to get those deals, get those potential deals done now.
Now, those players had to
be out the window.
Those players had to be on the existing rosters from prior to the deadline. So, like Alex Tuck could sign an 8-year deal with Buffalo and then get flipped to Washington.
Right.
Yeah, and regular season.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, regular season, you definitely could get more goals out of Marner and Eichel. I mean, you can.
So just to follow up here with regards to the Giroux situation, this is from Anthony DeMarco again. Further to Pierre LeBrun's report, it sounds like a Giroux Flyers reunion is still a possibility. So that language-wise tells me, not necessarily that.
I agree.
It tells me they're probably in the midst of just saying it's a possibility. But if somebody's going to Giroux with a 2-year deal, if I'm
he's going to take it.
If you're Philadelphia, you just say we're in with you for 1.
Right.
If you get 2, fantastic, congratulations.
Giroux has not won a cup. Do you think he takes a 1 or 2 year deal with one of the Western teams like Dallas, Colorado?
Got a crack at it. I mean, it would make sense if it's important. Again, if Giroux's trying to win a Stanley Cup, it's not going to happen. It won't happen with the Flyers. So that's probably where things are potentially.
That's what he's looking for, to see if he can get
direction.
a contender. Yeah.
So that seems to be. I thought I saw something here with regards to Maverick.
This is a little old, but it's worthwhile to say this. In addition, this is David Pagnotta of the fourth period.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to LA and Tampa Bay, I believe Calgary and Minnesota are among the teams also considering pursuing UFA sniper Patrick Laine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's no longer a sniper. I'm not even sure he's anything, but okay.
But it depends on, like, okay, Dave, Yarmo traded for Patrick Laine when he was in Columbus. The Sabres, what do they need to address? Power play scoring. He could set himself up on that left circle and blast away. It might be worth a 1-year deal for the Sabres if that's what he's debating.
Well, and that's a low risk move for the Sabres. I mean, I'm sure there'll be other teams interested in Laine too, but that may be something like that. Maybe a good low risk, just like you said, a 1-year deal to kind of shore up the power play, which probably cost him some games this year, not being able to convert.
In the chat, they're talking about Jonathan Drouin, him being the only buyout of the buyout season. Why do I think he's going back to Colorado? That's where he had success, and Colorado doesn't have a lot of cap space, and he could play with Nathan McKinnon again. I think there's a possibility.
Here's what I would say about Laine. I just searched it.
Yep.
So he has missed 183 regular season games in his career. If you have him and Josh Norris on the same team, that's a lot of man. I mean, it's just you're going to lose guys for a lot of games.
No, I know. I mean, Russ, the Sabres lost Josh Norris on opening night, and they lost him for 2 months, taking a face-off. And it his return corresponded with them all of a sudden turning into the juggernaut. So, yeah, I mean, he's a good player. He just can't stay healthy, and Laine is the same thing. But I think, you're talking about cost-benefit analysis here. If you can get him on a 1-year deal that's cheap, and you get him to play 50 games, it might be worth it.
I mean, that's like me buying like a Volkswagen with 150,000 on it, saying I could get one season out of this for another 10,000 miles.
Hey, Russ, I have a second monitor here. I bought an Apple monitor that was 15 years old. It lasted me a year, and then it died on me. So I got something out of it for $50. That
cost benefit analysis on that.
So
could have done better.
Patrick Laine is the Buffalo Sabres Apple monitor, if they can actually. Let's see here. So I think we're waiting on Toronto here, and maybe of course
to win a Stanley Cup. What are we waiting on Toronto for?
For the moves, Rob.
Oh, okay.
For the moves.
Okay.
Should I say
again, there is, as we said before. I mean, depending on how ugly and messy, as people have now indicated, the situation is in Columbus with Werenski.
Yes, I mean
It ain't. All right,
Surprise me
so,
if we've got days. It would surprise me if we've got days ahead of us.
all right, so let's piece together the timeline because I literally from the time of the combine through when I was live at the draft on the radio. So like Mark Scheich said, hey, looks like they're going to talk like after the draft, right? That was the talk. And then Dave Pagnotta comes on the show probably like 2 hours before the draft. He's on that first hour. He's looking at his phone. He goes, you know what? They're not going to wait until after the draft. It looks like he's available now. So then for those few days, right? What was that? 4 or 5 days, whatever the 7 days. So then all of a sudden that timeline got moved up. And then Dave kept checking his phone all throughout the show. And so this Werenski thing got hot right around the time of the draft. And, you know, there's no way of putting the toothpaste back in the tube. He's not returning. Like, he's getting traded.
Okay, another deal just went down. Jeffrey VL, 5 years, $2.5 million to Tampa. So that was one of the guys I was looking at from a physical, you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I slept through that. What did you say?
I'm
kidding. No, I'm kidding.
5 times 2.5. Also, Dennis Gilbert returning to the Buffalo Sabres on a 1-year, one-way deal.
Oh, terrific.
$850,000. This is coming from Darren Dreger.
that is a Rochester Amerks sign because
Yeah.
I talked about this with another reporter.
Forster's official, by the way. Forster is now official. 8 years, $7.1 million.
I talked about this a few days ago with the Sabres reporter. If you look at with an Amerks reporter, if you look at the crop of defensemen down with the Amerks next year, they're all first and second year guys. You need somebody with experience down there. So, you know, Dennis Gilbert with a one-way contract will clear waivers and probably end up being that guy who goes back and forth from Rochester.
I have a question for the panel. So since I was food shopping and didn't have a lot of time before this show, I went and bought a Lunchables, and I'm washing down the Lunchables with a Mountain Dew Kickstarter. Am I the only person to ever do that? Like, do 10-year-olds do that now? That's the question.
I've never had
Probably 10-year-olds do it. Yeah,
They probably do it.
I've never had a Lunchable in my life.
Well, you're missing out.
Noah Juleson, 2 years, $1.1 million with Colorado.
Okay.
Flyers fans rejoice.
Yeah.
They're happier for Juleson than he is for himself.
Yeah, there it is.
It's like learning the news that Justin Hall signed with the Red Wings. So Leaf fans were so anxious just to send him to drive him to Pearson.
Yep.
Indeed. Mike Benning signs with Calgary, 1 year, two-way contract. That just popped up here.
Declan Carlisle, 2 years, $1.5 million with Pittsburgh.
Pierre LeBrun mentioned not anticipating a Zach Werenski deal today.
Okay. So, Mike, Carlisle is definitely a Scranton guy today, right? But he is a defensive defenseman, and he could probably jump up and be an NHL depth guy. I watched him in his college career, and he's not bad.
No, that's a good point, and I think they need reinforcements down in Wilkes-Barre. Just on the Vial signing, boy, Florida and Tampa is going to be a bloodbath every time. I mean, they're playing 2 preseason games against each other, and then 4 times in the regular season, and now you see Tampa.
Wait, so you're suggesting, Mike, that John Cooper plays games to have fights in them?
No, Russ. He signed Scott Sabourin for his skill.
Okay, fair enough.
Please give me a break. 3-year contract for Ross Johnston with the Blues, $2 million AAV. Wow.
$2 million for Ross Johnston?
Yeah.
AAV.
Yeah. Welcome to silly. We're in the silly season now.
I mean, I understand he has a lot of fist talent, but that's a lot of money, man.
So we bring Jan Lemine onto the show, and Jan, I'm not sure if you heard the Eunice Corpusalo deal with the Bruins and the Rangers. So the Rangers replaced Jonathan Quick with Corpusalo. I think he has 1 year left on his contract. What do you think?
I've already kind of tweeted a bunch about it. So he's got 2 years left in his contract at a $3 million AAV. Kind of think it's a ridiculous deal. I'm not in big favor of it. He was good in the past, not particularly good last year. Dylan Garland is waiver ineligible right now, so you can't send him down without passing him through waivers. So it's another reason why I question this deal, especially they just signed Garland to a 2-year contract. I know that
couple bit. Jack Roslovic to Toronto per Elliot Friedman. Still working terms. Also, Islanders, according to Stefan Rosner. And the fourth period, Isles are signing Vitek Vanacek.
It was only 1 year late, Russ. I said Roslovic to Toronto all year.
A 2-year deal for Roslovic.
I want to clip this.
4 mil AAV.
Yeah, I want to clip this the same way we clipped Michelli when Mike was happy about getting Michelli. Now Roslovic's a little better, but not a lot better.
Russ. I was not like I said it made sense. I didn't say it was great.
Well, Roslovic's not a home run, and you got to hope that he can play with Matthews still.
He did score 20 goals with Edmonton last year. He had a good year.
I know. Watch his
Yeah,
defense.
good.
Watch
Yeah,
his
good.
Okay,
run.
Jan, go ahead with finish on Corpusalo.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not a big fan of the signing at all. I mean, look, if he rebounds to what he did in the World, the Olympics, great. But given the balance of what we saw last year, the contract amount, the 2 years on the deal, and I'm not sure what you do with Garland because you can't send him down without passing him through waivers. And in my opinion, there's probably no way he passes through waivers. At a $3 million AAV, I'm not sure if I understand the rationale associated with it based upon those factors.
I think Iran's the number 3 now, and they'll figure it out, but I don't like it either. I
And
think you're right there.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I think what the Sabres did last year is going to become more common in this league in terms of teams carrying 3 goaltenders because they recognize how valuable goaltenders are. What I'm surprised at is Devin Levi hasn't been traded yet, Dave. I mean, supposedly Edmonton was looking in on him. But I don't know how serious that was. He hasn't been moved yet. You're probably not getting a ton for him, but the Sabres are up against it because they're going to lose either him or Colton Ellis on waivers unless they want to carry 4 goalies.
I think a deal is going to happen with Levi, but the asset is certainly depreciated over what it would have been at one point in time. But you're right, Mike. I mean, they have the logjam at goaltender, and it's pretty clear that they think highly enough of Ellis that they kept 3 this year, and they got him into some games. So I think at some point they'll just take the best offer that they can get in a trade for Levi.
Now, Russ, is Roslovic a center or a winger?
He can play both. Like I've seen him play both.
Where do you think he fits better?
Well, I think if he's playing with Matthews, he's playing on the wing. I think if he's playing on his own line, he'll play center.
And he's a Michelli again. You're upgrading Michelli. You're upgrading.
Oh, it's an upgrade to Michelli. Don't get there.
That's
no
an
question.
unquestionable thing there.
Well, I mean, honestly, Roslovic could
also another American player. Again, if you're bringing in yet another guy who has Team USA
and a former
background. And again, if you're trying to grease the wheels in the direction of Zach Werenski,
and a former teammate of Zach Werenski. There you go.
Yeah.
2-time 20. He scored 20 goals 3 times, twice in the last 2 years. 22 goals with Carolina 2 years ago. 21 goals in 69 games with Edmonton last year. So
I want to read this from AI. AI is stepping into the chat here, Mike, and going to say that Jack Roslovic.
I'm not using ChatGPT.
Jack Roslovic is generally characterized as defensively challenged offensive forward. He consistently posts negative relative Corsi and Fenwick metrics.
You know what this is? This is Max Domi insurance.
Yeah, probably.
Max Domi may not.
I agree.
Roslovic is fine. I mean, he wasn't great with his run with the Rangers. He had a couple of decent games. He was nothing phenomenal. He's a decent winger. I don't put him as a top-line winger, maybe a second-line winger. I think you're overestimating in terms of, I think, the impact he's going to have, but we'll see what happens. And by the way, Victor Arvidsson, 2-year contract with Detroit, $5 million AAV, according to LeBron.
Oh,
okay. I'll tell you one of the main reasons why they made this move. Almost everybody in their top 9, in Toronto's top 9, are left-handed shooters. The only one who I think is a righty is Nylander. Roslovic is a right shot.
Yeah, I mean, they're piecing him in, and he could play, but like I said, he is defensively challenged, so they're going to have to make up for that. Yeah,
right. But if you're talking about a third line of Easton Cowan, Jacob Quillen, and Jack Roslovic, that's workable.
Quillen can play defense, so he might actually be the guy that ends up playing the defense.
I think Quillen's making their roster because most of their penalty killers last year are gone.
Right.
They don't want Matthews and Matthew Nyes killing penalties if they're going to be playing.
Right. And Quillen does that, and he's fast. And
Quillen does that. So yeah, I $4 million. Okay, that's basically.
I mean, I'm still not looking at the Leafs as a playoff team yet. I'm not.
I know if they get Werenski,
If they get Werenski, it's a different ballgame.
yeah. Now, I still have not seen any number on Sissons in terms of the signing.
No, nothing yet.
Nothing yet. I mean, yeah. So yeah, I mean,
So Nickel City Grunge has a good thing. He said Matthews' good friend seems to be a trend here. Yeah, because they're trying to keep him in the game.
Oh,
Keep
we
him-
have a
keep him
signing.
going.
The Flyers have signed Noel Acciari, 2 years, $2.8 million.
That's good.
That's
Yeah,
a
he's a good solid player.
times $8 million. That's a solid move.
good,
Yeah.
good,
And-
good fourth line winger.
So that means Glenn
He can
Denning's
play
out.
center too. He gave me.
Yeah, that means Glenn
Yeah,
Denning's not coming back.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
We have a goalie signing also.
Yep. Who?
The Winnipeg Jets have signed Stuart Skinner to a 2-year contract with a $3.75 million
They're setting up a
AAV.
trade.
There's your insurance. Okay, so let's play roulette here. Hellebuyck roulette. Okay, say this is the precursor of a Hellebuyck trade. Where is he going? Anthony, take your guess.
Middle of typing something here, Mike. So give it to me again. Hellebuyck.
Hellebuyck, where do you think he's going to go? If he's going, where do you think he's going?
I think Carolina's going to be in the mix there, possibly. I think they're trying to splash. They may be trying to splash here. I think Carolina has a decent chance of that. Other than that, New Jersey.
Yeah, Nikishin would be the big piece. Ross, what do you think?
New Jersey.
Jan,
Carolina.
Dave,
I'm going to go off the board here, and I'm going to say the Buffalo deal will get done. So Buffalo.
Okay.
okay. I'll go with
Mike?
I'll go with Dave. I think Jack Quinn and Luukkonen will be part of this deal, but because Jack Quinn's name has been floating out there. But I'd like to ask a question to Jarmo Kekalainen and the Buffalo Sabres. Who the hell is going to score? Because Jack Quinn scored 20 goals last year, so now your deficit is 53 goals.
I just want to tell you that Sportsology's New Jersey Devils correspondent Matt Blittner chimed in and said he's hearing, the Hellebuyck thing is a chance in New Jersey.
Okay. I mean, that it makes sense because they cleared Markstrom.
Right.
No,
Once that happened, that's what sort of raised it for me because I kind of figured. I thought maybe about a week ago that might be the location because they have a lot of pieces they can move around. And once they moved Markstrom, I'm like, all right, Sonny Met is helping out his old boss, but he's also clearing a spot.
Jan, you'd know this because of your familiarity with both players. Zuccarello went right from the Rangers to Minnesota, correct? There was no stop.
No, he was traded, I think, to Dallas first, and
Yeah,
then he
I
signed with
think he's
Minnesota
right.
as a free agent.
That's right. Because our good buddies at Spit and Chicklets say the Breadman and Zuccarello reunite in LA. I don't remember them ever playing together.
So Zuccarello, I think Panarin came in right after that, if
That's
I
what I
remember
think.
correctly, because it was accelerating the rebuild based upon the fact that he was being signed, and I think it was after
Right.
Zuccarello was dealt
Okay,
the following season.
Yeah, I'm just looking it up on Hockey DB. So Panarin played the first year in New York was 2019, and
Esmir's right. Lundqvist took the trade hard. Like that was his
Lundqvist
buddy.
hated it.
yeah,
Lundqvist hated, especially the way it went down because it just happened in a minute, no forewarning, no anything.
Correct.
right, and apparently Kaprizov was not too happy regarding
Oh, I bet.
because Zuccarello and him were
They vibe.
I mean, have
okay,
we seen
so,
anything
yeah.
yet in terms of how much the
Spit and
performance
Chicklets.
bonuses are?
Spit and Chicklets are a bunch of morons.
Mike, this is shocking.
I love people are now complaining about Acciari getting $2.8 million on a
No, you can't
on a
complain.
complaining about the AV on a 2-year deal, $2.8 million for the
No.
role that he plays. Like, come on. I swear, Flyer fans just not. I shouldn't say. Oh, I apologize to people who are being well at it. But it's
Zuccarello was traded in 2019, and Panarin started the following fall. So they never
That's what I
played
said.
together.
Yeah, we didn't
That's
think
what I
they
said.
played together, but again, you're giving us a news flash about Spit and Chicklets that I think most of us know.
Yeah, I know. I just, but whatever.
Yeah.
I just found it very interesting. Anyway, so yeah, no, I mean, like I said at the very top of the show, we can't complain about the numbers now because there's a lot of
No,
money.
I know we can. It's true.
There's a lot of. I mean, did anybody ever think that Mason Marchment was going to get paid $7 million a year?
No.
I
I mean,
mean,
this would be the example, Mike, if Verner's raised their price $1 for a liter, and you would be like, "Uh-oh."
sold. I mean, I don't drink pop anymore, at least not right now.
Any Verners in your house?
I have no pop in my house, Russ.
Okay. All right.
I have not had a Coke or anything in over a year.
A Coke? You haven't had a Coke in
I
a
have
year?
not had a Coke in
Wow.
over a year.
So when you go to McDonald's and torture the people
I
in the drive-thru,
haven't gone to McDonald's in over a year.
okay, all right, because you used to torture those people.
I,
He did, Dave. He used to go through there and he would like inspect the burger, and it's
Oh,
like,
yeah, please. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm not driving away from McDonald's if I order my Big Mac and then go home and open it. It's got that fucking special sauce on there. Okay? No. That crap, putting Thousand Island dressing on a goddamn burger is ridiculous. My God.
Well, Mike may not have had it, but he's still triggered by the concept and thought. So
Clearly.
not much has changed when it comes to Mike.
it does-
It's been a while.
It takes not much, Jan, and you know that.
Oh, I know. I know.
Here you
Like
go.
2 words and he's triggered.
Here you go. Mike remembers a messed up order from 1993.
Darn right. Who put pickles on that?
Well, I grew to accept pickle, but it's a special sauce. And if it was a quarter pounder of cheese, I would throw that damn thing against the wall if it had ketchup or mustard on it. It's
oh my
gross.
God,
Ketchup and mustard is
so
gross.
good, so good.
Okay. Anyway,
It's Mike's greatest hits. Thank you.
yeah. You pressed my button and there you go. Okay, so let's see. Jan, what do you think that the Rangers have made the Dorofeyev sign and trade and then signing? Now they've added a backup goaltender. Do you see anything major that they're going to do, or what do you see Chris Drury doing?
You mean the addition of Joe Veleno also today is not considered major? Sarcasm
No.
dripping.
No.
Personally, I'd like to see him get a defenseman. I don't think they're going to go major. I have no interest, honestly, in Mario Ferraro. He's been mentioned so long to the Rangers, you'd almost think he's been playing there for about 4 years. A guy I'd like to honestly see is Ryan Shea. Is probably much better. I would have even liked Trevor Van Riemsdyk, who was the first signing at like 12 o'clock today. Was another guy I'd be interested in. They talked about needing bottom 6 players. I mean, they've talked about Teddy Bluger, only because he's Latvian and could help Albert Smith settle in a little bit. I probably would prefer Lars Eller if I was going to go that direction.
I like Teddy. Teddy's a really good spark
but
plug.
the only reason I like Eller is A, he brings a little bit of edge. B,
He
wins
does.
face-offs, can kill penalties. And they're trying to get away from using Zibanejad and those guys for massive minutes on the power play. The other thing they probably need is a top 6 winger. I mean, that's why Zuccarello had been mentioned so prominently. First of all, because clearly the relationship that existed in the past. But one of those things is they could need a top 6 winger, depending on what ends up happening with Trocheck, who's rumored to still be on the block, and obviously Braden Schneider, who's rumored to still be on the block. So I don't see them going like.
Jen, I was going to say, I do want to mention that Mario Ferraro is not related to the Ferraro brothers who
No.
played for the
No,
Chris and Peter?
we've had it.
Chris
Yeah,
and
a couple
Peter?
people have asked me about that before. And I'm like, he's not. Yeah.
And he's
I know
not
the Ferraro brothers.
he's not related to Ray Ferraro or Landon Ferraro either.
No, correct.
He's not related to, but he's not related to the Ferrero Rocher Candy Company either, as far as we know.
But they're good. I like them.
Oh, they're awesome. I love them.
They got too many.
Keep them away from me, actually.
I mean, I think if the Rangers trade Schneider, it's gonna be a big mistake. I mean, had they not realized that they kind of screwed up Keandre Miller based on what he's doing in Carolina? Have they figured that one out yet?
You would presume that would require Chris Drury to know what he's doing, and right now the jury is most certainly out on if he knows what he is doing there. The other thing I've seen, though, we'll see Bruce Garrish reported that the Senators and several others have interest in Will Borgen. If I could move on from Will Borgen, given he's got 4 years left at $4 million a year, I would probably consider making that move, given there's probably some guys out there in the market who would be better options.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when that happened. I was just like, he doesn't give you enough. It's not a bad
He played
player.
fine the first 2 weeks, and then it's like, hey, let's give him a 5-year deal with a $4.1 million extension, because that made sense.
The one thing I'll tell you about Chris Drury is he is a lot of times able to trade himself out of trouble. He has been able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it'd be better off if you don't put yourself into trouble first to
Jam,
force
this is a
yourself
whole
to
other
trade out
show
of that
now.
trouble.
Well, but at the same time, I think we mentioned earlier as well, from the Flyers' perspective and looking at this, if the Senators go and get Will Borgen, that probably puts the Senators out on Rasmus Ristolainen and any kind of trade, because they already signed Spence. They get Borgen as well. That's probably
they're pretty set.
They'll be set at that point. So
I agree.
Yeah.
The only thing that Joe Veleno indicates is probably Connor Sheary's not coming back. So he's replaced one guy for another, though.
Connor Sheary's not coming back?
With the lack of nepotism
Mike
that
Sullivan
exists there.
would be-
So
Mike Sullivan would be crestfallen at that. My God.
it's the lack of nepotism. So
Yeah. Something to consider there.
I mean, I have to say, based on the Rangers' moves right now, they're still not a playoff team. There you go.
3.75 million times 2 years for Skinner. So
If doesn't do it for you, Russ, that doesn't put him over the
I mean,
top?
it's good, but it's not enough.
It's good. It is.
but,
yeah, there's other moves clearly needed. I mean, their top six is, if you keep Trocheck, certainly better, right? You have Laff, you have Zib, you have Perot, you have Dorofiev, you have. I mean, if they move Trocheck leave Trocheck at center, move Miller to wing, that's actually a decent top six. But suppose it seems like they want to have Miller at center, which means you're now using Trocheck as your third line center.
I will say this. I'm going to make a proclamation. Dorofiev will score more than Valery Kamensky did as a Ranger. Thank you.
Wow, way to go out on a limb there, Russ.
Trocheck is too bit of a face-off guy to.
Oh, he's too good. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, no.
I also said he wouldn't be traded. And everybody's like, "What do you mean he's on the trading block?"
Terry,
I
Well,
I hope
they're not lowering their cost, right? And at $5.6 million, given we've seen some of the contracts that have been doled out, that's a pretty reasonable contract for a second line center.
I still think Sullivan's holding him there. That's what I think.
I hope Terry in the chat is joking here because Paul Cotter 1 year, 2.5 million with Vancouver. I hope Terry in the chat is joking because it'll send Russ and Jan off.
It won't matter to me. I don't care.
Justin Hall signs with the New York Rangers. He has to be joking. Justin Hall doesn't belong on a VHL team.
He will get a contract. He will.
That's to trigger Mike, though, some more.
He will get a contract. We know he will.
All right, guys, I'll be back in a little bit.
Okay, Jeff.
Yeah. So, no, it's let's see. LeBron has got something. LA King's still talking to Scott Watkins camp, trying to bring him back, but nothing done yet.
Don't worry, they'll bring him back. I'm basically talking to Flyers fans now. That's my message to Flyers fans. Don't worry, the Kings are off the rails here. Like, they're going to bring him back.
Oh boy, this is off the hockey page just for a second. Now, obviously, not watching any of this, but friends of mine would be really concerned about this. In the World Cup, Congo is beating England 1-0.
Fun.
Yeah.
According to Steph Rossner, it looks like the Islanders may be coming to terms on a deal with Matthias Michelli.
Oh, yes!
Woo! Leafs Islanders connection, because
There you go.
There you go, baby.
they crossed that, cross-state thing here, and God.
Enjoy the suck, Islanders.
So it looks like Matt Blittner was on the Devils call. He just posted. It looks like Heischer just commented about his new deal and stuff. That was smart. I mean, they had to keep him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with the uncertainty now with Quinn Hughes signing a deal in Minnesota, the same term as Jack Hughes, that in 3 years, Quinn and Jack take their talents to South Beach or someplace like that.
Or Quinn goes to New Jersey.
Or Jack goes to Minnesota.
Yeah, but they have to wait for that. Like, they're not going to just
No. If Quinn signs a 3-year deal, which is rumored,
right,
and they're on the
yeah, sure. Then they're on the same timeline.
then all you
So are you saying they're going to leave Luke behind, Mike? Is that what you're saying?
then the team who who signs both of them, will have to trade prospects or whatever to get Luke.
I feel bad for Luke. It's like the two are going on a fishing trip and leaving the other brother at home.
It's like Jared Stahl. It's like the fourth.
Oh, it's better. No, he's better than that. Don't do that.
It's like Mark Stahl. It's like
Yeah.
who was not a bad hockey player. Don't get me wrong.
Jared Stahl. Don't say that.
No, he play one NHL game because his brothers got him to play one game
because his last name is Stahl.
Yep, Matthias Michelli with the Islanders. So that's
good. Congratulations, Islanders. You're gonna love them there.
That's beautiful. You added 12 goals that you'll get once you've been eliminated from the playoffs.
He's gonna have to play
There's
20 minutes.
I did hear there was some whispers possibly about Bjorkstrand there in the on Long
That would be a good pickup for them. Honestly,
that was mentioned. I think that was Rosner mentioned that a little earlier, but that might take a little bit of time to get done, depending on how the market develops. But Bjorkstrand, I think, would make a lot of sense for the Islanders.
It would.
Yeah. So try deals are now kind of. Let's see if anything's currently quieting down at the moment.
Okay, Dave, because there has been some speculation out there that Logan Stanley, who played the remainder of the season with the Sabres after being traded from Winnipeg, is going to get in excess of $5 million. Based on what we're seeing, I think that's a low bar. I think he's going to get more than that. I mean, but again, I don't see it because Logan Stanley, he's willing and able to fight, and he had a decent offensive year last year, but he's terrible defensively, and I mean, terrible. He's not good at all.
No, I mean, he did bring, like as you said, that physicality when he came to the Sabres, but I don't see him as a fit defensively for Lindy Ruff. But
Daniel, did you see this? I don't know anything about this player, but Milstein reported Danila Klimovich.
Yeah, Klimovich. Yeah,
signed a 1-year deal with the Flyers.
Yeah,
let me see. This is coming from
Dan Milstein.
Let me look because it hasn't come up on my radar yet.
Yeah, he has offensive ability. He got a big boost.
Yeah, Danila Klimovich, 1-year deal. It's coming out of was he with I think this would be a minor league deal here.
It would be to start because he had a lot of boost. He got boosted at the World Juniors, and then it's sort of like people got excited about him, and then it was like, what about an all-around defensive game, which he doesn't really have? So I think he has to start in the AHL to kind of get that going. But there is offensive ability there.
He's been an AHLer for a while. He's been an Abbotsford but he had 25 goals 2 years ago and had a decent year this year. I mean, it may be.
What was his plus minus, Mike?
Oh, last year minus 17. But
that's the problem with Klimovich. He can bring you offense, but he'll lose you.
Yeah, I'm just getting his numbers now. Klimovich, I'm trying to put a post out.
He may be strictly a Lehigh Valley guy, but
no. I think look,
I'm looking at he's all Abbotsford. He's been with Abbotsford.
I know, but he has good speed. Like this is a guy. If he ever could figure out a two-way game,
right?
He could spot play in the NHL because he could score. But yeah, he has to figure out the two-way game, which he's never figured out.
Yeah, 18 goals, 34 points, minus 17 with Abbotsford.
Vanacek's deal with the Islanders, 1 year, $1 million. So he's the third goalie. He's the number.
I mean, he's the new Anton Forsberg, Vanacek.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
nobody's as bad as Anton Forsberg.
I mean, how badly he barely played like the second half of the season. What did he play? 2 games? 3 games?
No, yeah, they killed Vamelka. I mean, they ran into the ground.
They barely played Vanacek.
Which is the reason why they traded for Kosa. So now they have a goaltender who probably could play 30 games and take a little of the burden off of Vamelka. Maybe even in a best case scenario, Kosa steals the job from Vamelka.
Oh, that is a best case scenario because it's possible.
Let's see here. So,
I mean, so let's look at Detroit for the Detroit fans on the dial here. It doesn't look great. Like still don't look at them as an improved team.
Yeah, all they've done is Victor Arvidsson. That's all they've done.
And they lost a goalie in their system because they're backing the guy from the AHL, which is like okay, but like Kosa, you know how much it takes to like. You draft a guy, you develop them. You're spending a lot of money on player development and everything else. And basically, in a half a season, they decided the other guy was better than Kosa. Like, I don't know, man. That's a choice. And Kevin talked about it, right, Mike? We brought him on the show. He talked about it. But I'm just telling you, this is a choice. If Kosa does really well, it's going to get looked at.
It's egg on the face of Steve Yzerman. It's like, you crafted this guy for years, and then when it comes time, Ty Anderson, our reporter from the Bruins, covering the Bruins, hearing that Jordan Harris will be staying with the Bruins.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I agree with the chat room as far as Trey Augustine, but he's years away. So, and Coast is not years away. So that's the thing. But I will tell you this. I really enjoyed Steve Yzerman's press conference on Dylan Larkin, because everything that I said about what I think he was going to do, like dragging his feet on any potential deal and not in a rush to trade him. Anthony, remember I was saying that? If you watched his press conference, it kind of showed that.
Well, I mean, if they're not getting the right offers, and he's got 5 years left in the contract, do you think Dylan Larkin is going to say, "I'm not playing for you," and sit at home? He's going to play, but
he's going to play.
But eventually he'll get
traded. But like Yzerman's just like, I'm not in a rush here.
Yeah,
I can't even say that.
Understandable for sure. Yeah.
I've got the whip hand, and I'm going to use it.
But I have to tell you, from a perspective of like how that press conference went off, I don't know, man. Just if you watch it, it's awkward.
Oh, it was painful. It was painful to watch. I mean, let's just say this: Don Waddell would be better off to not do a press conference right now, because he might regret saying something. Because right now, I mean, they've been put in an almost worse position with Werenski than Detroit is with Larkin, because at least with Larkin, they have 5 years left in the contract. With Werenski, they got 2 years, which mitigates what you, even though, you're going to get a market. But if he's saying, I only want to go to 2 teams, then that mitigates what you can get back. And
Rick, I want to clarify something for somebody, because again, somebody mentioned with regards to the Klimovich sign that he signed a 1-year NHL contract.
It's a one-way.
If it's one way, that doesn't mean he's going to be on the roster.
It doesn't.
It means he's going to probably start with the Phantoms. Just because it says it's an NHL contract does not mean the player is going to be starting.
Right.
So what was his numbers in penalties? So he had 62. So I'm looking for is he a fighter? 62 penalty minutes in 63 games minus 17. If you think that player, and he has not had any NHL experience whatsoever.
He's a goal scorer, Anthony. That's it. It's that or nothing.
But remember,
he will start the year with the Phantoms. So just because it says NHL contract, it just means in this case he got a one-way deal. Congratulations on it.
Yeah, these teams purposely give some of these players one-way contracts because that makes it easier for them to get through waivers.
Correct.
Nicely.
No, it's good. Listen, the Phantoms got rid of some guys. They need to get some goal scoring. This is a way of getting them.
Now, on day one here, where you're going to start seeing a few more you're going to see AHL level signings here after we're past the first hour or so.
I do want to mention, I want to give John Snowden the pat on the back for not needing a megaphone and not having an inside voice. You could walk into the rink and hear John Snowden from any end of the rink. And when there was a goal scored, he said, "Oh my God." And it was so loud, because it was a great goal. It was so much. He's so much fun, man.
Yeah, exactly. And you kind of hope for better luck this season for him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Things kind of fell apart.
I think the wheels came off when guys got promoted.
Promoted and injuries and everything else. Yeah, that certainly did not help. So
let's talk San Jose Sharks, because they got close last year. Celebrini was, definitely a Hart candidate.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little better. I mean, Kesselring makes them a little better. I'm not saying he makes them a lot better, but with other guys getting better, Smith getting better, the young guys getting better. I mean, if Askarov has a good year, they could make the playoffs. I think it kind of hinges on him now.
Oh yeah, I mean, because you can't rely on Nedeljkovic. I mean, who they brought back as backup, and he's a good veteran backup. But no, it's got to be Askarov taking a next step. I mean, but their problem is right now, Russ, is they still have 3 defensemen.
Yeah, I mean, they could pick up one more, and they probably will. We'll see. I mean, Dickinson in his second year, I think, will be a better player too. He struggled a bit.
Yeah, no, but okay, right now, on they have Orlov with 1 year left in his contract. They have Michael Kesselring, who they just signed to a 3-year extension, and they have Dickinson on his ELC. After that, Letty, Klingberg, Desharnais, Ferraro, all unrestricted free agents. Makhmadulin, the former Devils first-round pick, he is an RFA with Arbright, so they
Yeah,
probably,
they'll re-sign him, and he can move the puck a little, so they'll keep him.
I mean, it's, Keaton Vierhoff's not going to make the team as an 18-year-old, so it's like he's.
I don't think so, Mike. I don't think so. But could he play? Yeah, he probably could. I wouldn't do it, but he probably could.
They need 3 NHL defensemen. 3.
Yeah, I don't think it's as bad as you say it is. If their goaltending can be a little better, I think.
I'm saying if they want to make the playoffs, they need 3 defensemen. Like,
Yeah, no.
So I
get
mean, it's not. I mean, there's still players.
Yeah, like, that is a place where Trouba could be a good fit.
Yeah, and Terry's like Riley to the Sharks. Terry Friedman said today and I'm not saying I had any kind of inside source on it because I didn't, but the Leafs came out and Chaika came out a few days ago and said he's probably going to be with us. Why? Because they're not getting offers, and he's still an NHL defenseman. He still can play. It's just he can't be a number 1 defenseman. And if all of a sudden they trade for Zach Werenski, then Morgan Riley is a third. I mean, he's making $7.5 million, and you probably want to jettison his contract, but he's not going to hurt you. And if you don't get Werenski, and then your top pairing is probably Jake McCabe and Darren Radish, or Oyel and Darren Radish, then he's a 4-5.
Wait, did you say Old Yeller? Who'd you say?
OEL.
Oh, OEL. Okay, I was gonna say Old Yeller's not available.
Not OMD, not orchestral maneuvers.
You know that, right, Mike?
No, he was retired many years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And I put retire in quotations.
The same way they retire people in the KHL, right?
Yeah, they retire people also on the Costa Nostra.
Yeah,
Keeping that in mind.
The KHL with a gun to the back of their head and a.
Okay.
Oh, here's a chat.
In case we didn't need the additional descriptors, Mike made sure to give you the extra.
Sure we did. We're trying to
Tanev is old Yeller. That's from the chat room.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Goodness gracious.
Yes. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's the thing. Like, we're not even 2 hours in. Oh, here we go. Per Pierre LeBrun, Matthias Michelli headed to the New York Islanders on a 1-year, $2.25 million contract. So his qualifying offer would have been 4.
Yeah.
A little something from Darren Dreger related to Werenski. Relax, Michael. Sounds like Werenski, his agent Judd Moldaver, and CBJ General Manager Don Waddell spoke today in an effort to clear the air and calm things down. Werenski is comfortable going back to Columbus. Waddell could present him with a trade in the meantime, but it isn't on the radar at this point.
Yeah, sure. So if he has to go to camp, he'll go to camp.
I'm going to put it down as taking it down to DEFCON 2.
Right. But you know what I mean? You know what that tells me? That tells me he'll report to camp, and then if he gets traded in camp, great.
Right. Exactly. But this also gives them time to get the deals that they're probably looking for here. So
before he has to play a game in an actual regular season or an exhibition game.
Remember, there's only 4 exhibition games. There's not much of an exhibition season here.
Dave, thank God. 4 exhibition games. Thank God. Instead of 8, for Christ's sake. It's absolutely insane.
We'll see what Mike complains. Mike's going to complain, sorry, Dave, about the 84-game season, so don't worry about it.
No.
I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. Like when I hop in my car for the 45-minute drive down to Voorhees for the Briere press conference, and about 3, the Flyers end up making 2 or 3 more, because that's how this usually works.
No. Here's what's going to happen. Here's my predictor for next season. So the Leafs are going to miss out on the playoffs by 2 points, and Mike's going to say if this was an 82-game season, they would have made the playoffs, and he'll get to be mad at that. Anthony, what's the chances of
By the
that?
way, Mike, when do they have to officially announce the 27-28 pick?
Well,
because the minute that happens, that's when stuff's gonna hit the face.
To me, there's no doubt it's going to Philadelphia, because the last thing they're going to do is give a pick.
They don't want I thought we were going to do. They're going to do like a bidding thing here.
No, they're not.
They could though.
They could, but I don't think that I think they said that that's not legal. That they can't.
It shouldn't be legal.
But
But the league doesn't. The league has not put their foot down.
Right.
On,
They haven't said anything about it.
they just
so-
like, oh well, they'll determine it, and it's like,
Right.
well, what are
We're
we
gonna-
doing here?
we're gonna bribe you to get a first round pick with a first round pick. They're like, oh, we'll slip you in that.
Yeah, I mean, logic dictates you don't want to send it to your division rival who has already done stuff to you already over the years that they've dealt you, or you've dealt somebody to them. So
Matt Kessel, 1 year league minimum.
yeah, we're getting to that point of the day.
Another college player that I know, and yeah, he can fill in a role.
Yeah.
Up and down, that kind of guy.
Yeah,
Matthew Kessel.
Islanders signing there. Yeah, that's interesting there. So yeah, it sounds like it's a two. So the Klimovich contract sounds like it's a two-way contract.
Luke Shen back to the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah. It's
Oh, that's evergreen.
1 year, $2.25 million. That's to get to the cap floor.
Everybody needs a place to retire, Mike.
Vancouver's pretty nice to retire to.
It is. Although at 1.25, that doesn't really get you much in Vancouver.
2.25.
Oh, Joe, okay. He's all right then. He could rent an apartment for that. That'll cover his rental for the season on the water.
yeah.
Yeah, the Airbnbs in Vancouver are expensive. I know. I rented one back in 2019.
There was a time Vancouver was not that expensive. When I went to the first draft there, it was fairly cheap, especially with the Canadian dollar currency difference.
Well,
It was cheap, but
the difference is still like 35 to 40.
35.
Yeah, I gotta go up to Fort Erie for some Chinese food, folks.
I might go just for some more Voltaren. I don't know. It's that part of the show.
140 It's 140 into the show, everybody, and Russ is already talking about getting drugs across the border.
Great.
Not like Chris Berman. This is legal.
I was running those 222s.
All of you people.
Okay, Chris. Yeah, should we talk about the fact that O.J. Simpson is not being put on the Wall of Fame in the new Highmark Stadium?
No, it's a good idea.
They're hey, then you should have taken him off the old one.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely should have.
You know,
They just let it die with the Wall. So that's it. Leave him in the past. Leave him in the 1900s.
let's see here. Our friend Pete Tessier said the Jets are going to be awful.
Yeah, so actually, Ant,
Pete says it all the time. They're going to be awful. He's like you. He's the Canadian. He's Mike in Winnipeg.
yeah,
He's Pete in Winnipeg.
We're always right.
If that makes you feel better,
Balmy Winnipeg.
balmy Winnipeg, absolutely.
and so
Yeah.
going back to the World Juniors 2020, 2021, which is what I was talking about with Klimovich. He had 6 goals in 5 games, and that got him picked by Vancouver in the second round, which a lot of us were like, you got to be crazy to do that. But he got that bump.
Yeah, he got the bump, but again, he's been with Abby for 4 years now,
Yeah.
and 5, I think technically. I think he started like one abbreviated season, so maybe more like 4. Again, it doesn't move the dial. I mean, maybe he finds something. Maybe under Snowden, things click for him.
Yeah. I mean, he is 6'2", 203.
6'2", 203, so he certainly fits a certain size. He could be a guy who, if he gets off to a good start in Lehigh, that he might, if the Flyers have injuries or in the season, that he might find himself getting a cup of coffee, at the NHL level. But to me, this again read as what it was. It's a depth. It's a AHL depth signing. But obviously enough that because of his age, he's 23.
Yeah.
That we're taking a shot to see maybe you get.
You can turn his game around. Sure. I mean, here's what I would say though. Also,
basically call him a Phil Tomasino replacement.
Yes.
That's
here's what I would say after watching Gurbenkin play yesterday. They kind of floated him into the skills stuff, and he had no name on his back. It was good, but he was warming up, and then they kind of threw him in there. He looked pretty good. So I think at this point, it's safe to say that Luke Glendening will sign with the Edmonton Oilers, right? We all in agreement on that?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, I would say pretty much at this point. And again, he did again one of the better waiver wire acquisitions.
Yeah, sure.
Deadline that he did. I think he did a fantastic job.
He was terrific.
The Flyers. It was funny watching him in the playoffs and going. He's the one guy that you kept seeing going deep with the puck, and it was pretty wild at times because they were shutting. Because obviously Carolina was shutting Philadelphia down so effectively. But yeah, we said that he would. It was a great way to prolong his career. The only question was whether or not it was going to be with Philadelphia or elsewhere. And the minute the Acciari signing happened, that answered that question. So
you know what? I said World Junior. Sorry, Klimovich was U18s when it was in Dallas.
Oh, U8. I was going to say, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was U18s for him. He didn't. Yeah, that was his big moment.
Yeah, and it's kind of almost like reminds me a little bit of like Samu Tumala in some ways. Like
it's like anybody signing.
Tumala, you definitely could see in the second round at that time. He was, for that.
That was not outrageous. Klimovich was kind of outrageous, but at that time, but again, this is like a Joe Veleno signing now. It's like, Joe Veleno, like I had a lot of time for him 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. But now it's like I don't have much time for Joe Veleno anymore. Yeah,
you've moved on from Joe Veleno,
and
Joe is heartbroken at you.
I'm sure.
That you decided to just, send him the divorce papers.
I really like Joe. Like he has all these abilities, but he just never put it all together.
It's difficult. It's that one last thing. He's we like to use the phrase of quadruple A player.
Yeah,
he's an NHLer, but it's never going to be.
He doesn't pop.
He doesn't pop exactly. He pop at the AHL level, no doubt he pops, but the NHL level, not so much.
No, not so much.
Yeah. So things are now kind of
up to you, Mike. You got to find stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, England has tied up the Congo.
There we go.
This is as much World Cup as I've watched. Although I will tell you on my FanDuel spots for Locked On Flyers, I basically said take Argentina. I said take the U.S. a couple times in the early rounds, but Argentina is my pick. Like beat them or not.
They got Messi. That's bold.
Yeah, it was before the hat trick, Mike. I said this way before the hat trick, but of course it's because of Messi. I don't know anything about World Cup. Come on.
Clearly. But, Russ and I were witness to somebody when we were out on the a team. I can't even remember. I think it was Congo.
It was Congo. No, that's why I almost said something.
And there was a guy who was from the Congo, who was basically doing like a dance in the middle of a bar when Congo scored the game-winning goal with about like 5 minutes left to go. So, I'm not a big soccer fan, but when World Cup comes around, I do watch it because
I do have a signing.
Very compelling.
The Ducks signed Caulfield to a two-year deal. Not that Caulfield. It's Judd.
I was going to say he signed Caulfield. It's like interesting. Okay.
It's not. That's why I did it that way.
The Sabres signed Gretzky. It's Keith Gretzky.
No, right. Actually, Keith was a director of player development, scouting director for a few teams.
Drafted him back in the day.
I may have my favorite free agent right now. The Penguins have signed Atlee Calvert. 22-year-old Atlee Calvert to a 2-year ELC.
Okay.
Atlee.
So let's talk about this 6-year deal for Radko Gudas. Let's just go around the room. How many of the 6 years will he actually play? I'm going to say 3.
2. I'll give you. He's 36. I'll say 3 years.
2.
I'll go with 3.
Dave?
Go with 2 also.
Okay. So this is a retirement plan for him.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's Florida.
Right.
Everybody goes to retire.
Yeah.
It's good work by his agent. No question about it.
No question.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah. It's a good spot.
And it just shows what Mike was talking about earlier, just what the salaries are going to go to overall. It's just the market now.
Yeah. We didn't, Mike, I don't think we ever talked about the 3-year contract that the Sabres gave Zellweger. I think actually
$3 million.
At $3 million, that's a bargain. I actually think that's going to turn out much in their favor.
It very well could, and I have nothing against Zellweger. I think he was a good acquisition, and he's a good defenseman who I think could grow in Buffalo and get an opportunity. But the funny thing was, I heard Paul Hamilton, who's a local reporter on one of the from the WGR Buffalo radio, and they were talking about how the Sabres pairings would work out. And they don't see Zellweger as a middle pairing guy with Owen Power. They see him playing on the bottom pairing with like Connor Timmins, and that Louis Crevier, who they got in the deal from Chicago, is probably going to start the season with Owen Power because you want to do the left-right thing, and that's what Lindy likes is the left-right thing. And Crevier's a righty, and Timmins is a righty. Now, I think there's a possibility it's Timmins because he liked Timmins and the way Timmins played. I think it's Timmins with Power because they played effectively for most of the year. You're going to keep Samuelson and Dahlin together, and then probably it could be Crevier and Zellweger on the bottom pairing.
And he's basically the Logan Stanley replacement, right?
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Like he's kind of mid for me. I mean,
and Zach Metza is your seventh defenseman. But the point
he
that
might be the sixth defenseman in the end. He might.
He could be once Timmins gets hurt like he normally does. But the thing here is that their defense is not as good, and that's it. I mean, yeah, you made a nice deal for Zellweger, but he's not Byram, and he's
Mike,
not.
we do have another signing. For all those Dynamo fans out there, Utah has signed Vadim Moroz to a 2-year entry level. He could score some goals. I don't know him. I don't even pretend to know him. Like, this is just one of those, hey, we'll see what we get.
Another Milstein announcement?
Probably. Milstein's cleaning up today, by the way.
He is, absolutely. Starting off, the leadoff was Vladar. And
this is a good day for Dan Milstein.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely. Was it Gold Star? It's a Gold Star for Gold
You
Star.
are Gold Star!
Yeah.
That's what it
it's
says.
a good day for them.
That's what it says. I mean, respectfully.
And honestly, Crevier
every time
is
I see that hashtag, I immediately yell out, "We are Gold Star!"
Yeah. I hope the Sabres aren't expecting too much out of Crevier.
No, but
it'd be a lot to ask for him to fill Byram's spot.
Yeah,
he's not doing that. That's for sure.
He's not doing that.
Yeah.
Well, he can't fill it in terms of offense. But remember, they traded for Kesselring to be the number 4 to play with Owen Power. So what they're looking at here is like a defensive guy to let Power be the more offensive guy on that pairing.
Yeah.
When they had Byram and it was Power and Byram, Power was forced into more of a defensive role.
Yeah.
Byram was the one who did all the scoring.
So here's another one. The chat room has come up with this. Good job. Remember, Evander Kane is a UFA. Who is going to sign Evander Kane?
Machine.
Yeah.
What about the 716, Mike? Would they sign whatever their name is now? Would they sign Evander Kane?
Southern Tier Brewery.
Southern Tier Brewery. Would they sign Evander Kane?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Little update, Russ, on the Forster extension.
One sec. What? Jacob Trouba signs 4-year deal with San Jose Sharks.
Okay. Oh, that's a good. We talked about Trouba there. The chat room got their wish.
Stays out west.
Good.
So just some clarity again on the Forster extension. He has limited trade protection for years 3 through 8, but does not have a low move clause. So I think
that's good.
I guess the first couple of years of the deal will, I guess, again, when I get down to Voorhees, which I'm going to have to get out of here in a second to get down there on time. Yeah, that makes sense. And that kind of a contract should have a bit, if he's getting security, there has to be a bit of a give when it comes to at least from the financials and the contract standpoint. Then the Flyers, I never thought Forster, based on his injury history, would get a full-on no trade clause for the extent of that contract.
So yeah, it doesn't say. Let's see, AAV of $8.25 million for Trouba.
Yep, 8.25.
Wow,
that's a lot. Well, that's 8. I mean, that's a lot. Yeah, I mean, that is 8.25. Again, good offensive numbers last year for Jacob Trouba as well. Kind of had a renaissance a bit with the Anaheim Ducks, and that certainly, I think, helps move his contract, move things along. But certainly, I know I'd mentioned Trouba was somebody that maybe the Flyers would be looking at, but certainly not at those numbers. But what it does make interesting here now, how old is Trouba?
32, I believe.
So Darnell Nurse is making 9.25. He still has 4 years left on his contract. Trouba gets this deal for basically 4 years from San Jose. This again puts a little something in the arsenal here if for people who are negotiating with Edmonton on acquiring Nurse. You may not get the amount of retention you think you're going to get from Darnell Nurse. Even when Nurse's numbers dropping, he's got. Go ahead.
At absolute worst, Edmonton's going to be forced to take a contract back.
They're going to have to take a contract back going the other way. But again, the idea that Philadelphia wants $3 million taken off to acquire Nurse. I just don't think it was ever. I don't think it just keeps them at an impasse here. So maybe I'm kind of curious now that the Trouba signing is completed and that is the number for it, and they're around the same age,
right?
But in different roles. Whereas Darnell played higher in the lineup for Edmonton, whereas Trouba played kind of high in the lineup, obviously for Anaheim.
Well, two things on this. One, I think Trouba is the perfect safety blanket for Sam Dickinson, because Sam Dickinson, as a left D, you play him with a veteran like Trouba, who was a tough, defensive-minded, physical defenseman, and allows Dickinson to be more offensive. I also think this takes San Jose out of the Morgan Riley.
Absolutely. I think that's absolutely what's happening right now. So
I mean, I think I'm more convinced now that Morgan Riley will start the year with Toronto. And like I said, I've been in the camp all along of you don't trade him unless you get something for him. And it's not like they have to put a sweetener in or they have to retain salary. Bullshit. He's a good NHL defenseman. These morons on social media who single out Morgan Riley for the reasons why he's not a particularly great defensive defenseman. He's an offensive guy. He's got to adjust his game. He still can play in this league. So you don't give, especially a team that has defensive issues, you don't give away a defenseman who's still an NHL defenseman. So, we'll see what happens. But let me see here.
Former Phantom Lane Peterson signed with the LA Kings on a 2-year, two-way contract. So,
8.25. Wow.
It's a lot. Yeah, that's a big figure. And again, $1 million less than what Nurse is making. So Edmonton's going to turn around and be like, if you're going to ask us to retain, you don't think they're going to be retaining that much if Jacob Trouba is getting 4 years in this circumstance. So
I mean, Dave, would you be surprised if, like, okay, we've got Larkin who's requested a trade, we've got Nurse who's requested a trade, we think Hellebuck has requested a trade, but it's not out there officially. And we think Werenski has requested a trade, or at least has said, I'm not going to re-sign after 2 years. Do we think all four of these guys are going to be with their particular teams when training camp starts?
I think it might be a stretch to think all four, but if you look at the Hellebuck situation, I mean, clearly Winnipeg is not going to make a deal unless they get what their asking price. So it's possible that, that these players may actually, be moved at a later time because the asking prices are going to be high, which is going to take some teams out of the running for these players. And it might not be easy for GMs to move these players.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people thought that it would be easier based on the fact that there was so much money in the system, but now that there's not a lot of money. Elliot Friedman just tweeted, I do believe the Sergei Bobrovsky Toronto arrival is upon us. So that means you've reunited the Stanley Cup winning tandem, this is not a bulletin. We expected this. That you've reunited the Stanley Cup winning tandem of Bobrovsky and Stolarz in Toronto. But 2 years later, 2 years older, and I'm still not convinced that Stolarz can stay healthy for more than 25 to 30 games. And I don't think it behooves Bobrovsky at age 38 to play 55 games. That's maybe why you I don't know if they're going to trade Hildeby, but why you keep Hildeby around and have three goalies on your roster, to lighten the workload. And the thing is, once Stolarz gets hurt, then you have Russ. Elliot just tweeted out that he does believe the Bobrovsky Toronto is going to happen.
It is or isn't?
Is going to happen.
What are they going to pay him?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I saw a James Myrtle tweet earlier that said it was going to be for significantly less than people thought it was going to be. But I can't see him taking anything less than thanks, I'll have a cookie too.
Oh, it's not a cookie, Mike. These are peanut butter crackers. See, there we go.
Okay.
A little better than a cookie.
If I had to guess, I think they're going to end up giving him 4 years because they'll probably add the fourth year to spread the AAV out. And I would say it's probably going to be $6 million. And I don't like it, but I understand why. They have to win the next 2 years to convince Matthews to stay because Matthews is their franchise player. So I think, I think that's probably what it's going to end up being, but we'll see. Let's see here. So Noel Acciari got 2.8 for 2 years, according to Elliott. There still has not been
2.8 is good. Acciari's a good player.
Yeah.
By the way, if you type in, this is just AI, Mike, don't get on me. If you type in overpaid Leafs goalies, Bobrovsky is number one right now.
Well, that shows how inaccurate AI is.
I just think it's funny.
He's not a Leafs goalie yet.
I know, but they're already anticipating. I just think it's funny.
They suck. So
it's a lot of money. Could Bob win for him? Sure. I mean, it puts them in a better position than they were in. It doesn't put them in a good long-term position, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. Do we think that in any world we're going to see Elias Pettersson get moved?
I think they're talking about it, but I just don't know if there's a team that really wants to take on that contract, even with some money that's, withheld. I mean,
oh, there you go, Dave.
Favors.
There you go. Edmonton Oilers. We have acquired a third-round pick in the 2028 draft from the Edmonton Oilers in exchange for goaltender Devin Levi and a seventh-round pick. So there you go.
It was inevitable.
It ends. Yeah. So now you've got Edmonton with Tristan Jarry and Devin Levi, and I think Connor Ingram is a UFA. So Levi is the backup for Tristan Jarry, which means Levi will be the starter by November. Because I'm sorry, Tristan Jarry sucks. He was good in Pittsburgh, good enough to convince Stan Bowman that he had found his magic beads, and then all of a sudden those beads turned into never mind. But yeah, Devin Levi is going to he's going to see an awful lot of pucks. Maybe Mike Babcock will craft a defensive system that will be able to enable the Levi to be a good goaltender there and them to be better defensively. But I mean, Russ, coming out of Northeastern and what the Sabres did, and I think everybody can generally agree that the Sabres basically made promises to Levi that he would be the goalie to get him to sign the entry-level contract. Otherwise, him going right into the NHL as a 20-year-old and starting the last 7 games of a regular season when the team was in a playoff race. And he played well. I think he went 5-2. But then giving him the starting job, Don Granato gave him the starting job. And congrats to Don Granato, who's a very nice man, who's an assistant coach now, got hired by the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Oh, good for Don. When I see him, I owe him an iced tea. He bought me an iced tea in Buffalo once.
He bought me a cup of coffee. But, he had a 2-year contract with the Sabres, and then they let him go, and he basically lived out the 2-year contract, and now is taking on a job with Columbus. So
let's go Granato full circle, though. So when I was on for the first hour with Sirius, I was on with Tony Granato. And Tony mentioned something. He mentioned something about the old days, and he mentioned like 3 players, and Brian Leetch was one of them. And I said, well, Brian Leetch was the best of those players. I mean, and it was a long time ago. I think it was even before Leetch, or before he was a Ranger, or just when he became a Ranger.
Right.
And And then we got to break, and he was like, I knew you were going to be good on this broadcast when you knew that Leach was the best player. So it was funny. Tony and I had a moment, but then he also mentioned the IHL because he talked about something, and he said, oh, yeah, he talked about it. And then I said, oh, yeah, Ted Sater did a number on a few Rangers with the IHL. Remember, he said Roger Bear.
We know Ted Sater well from Buffalo, Russ.
Yeah, well, he was very unliked in New York. I can tell you.
John Shannon and Kevin Weeks are both reporting that the Bobrovsky contract is 3 years. Okay,
I mean, that mitigates some of the risk, so that's good.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'll bet you with the 3 years comes a higher $7 million. I'll bet you anything will be $7 million. Anything
Bob doesn't come for cheap. He never will.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be $7 million. So yeah,
he stays in great shape. He needs defense in front of him, though. That's the problem here. Is Bob's best years are when his defense is sort of like clearing things out in front of him because he'll stop all those shots that you need him to stop.
Well, that's going to be on Hiller to make sure that this plays better defensively. I mean, the funny thing is that they played really well defensively and got really good goaltending 2 years or 2 seasons ago when they won the Atlantic Division. But then last year, I think the message got lost. And I think basically players turned against Berube because Berube had no answers other than to yell and scream at them. Right. So, but the
I don't know about the yelling and screaming, but he had no answer.
No, I mean that's all he did, Russ. I mean he's a nice man. From what I've never,
he had a big gash. Let's give him credit for that. He never even missed a minute.
Scarhead, I call him Scarhead.
Yeah.
But God bless him. You can't even tell that he had that.
No, he healed quicker than any human on earth.
Yeah, it's like, geez. Clearly, he's not diabetic because that scar would last for years on it.
That would have festered, yeah.
Okay, let's see. Sabres. Okay, thank you. 3 times 7. Yep, 3 times.
Yeah, we figured 7. I mean, listen, like I said, if they could get one more, bedrock kind of defenseman that'll hang out in front of the net to clear things, I'll feel better about the Leafs if they could do that.
If they get another defenseman?
Yeah, like a guy that when he has to can move bodies away from the crease. Because who's going to do that?
Chris Tannen.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they do it to some degree, but they need a bigger guy that could do that.
Well, they had that guy in Brandon Carlo. That didn't work out so well.
No, but I mean, I'm just talking about that's his only directive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what they're looking for is a defense that's more mobile, and that's why they're adding Emil Andre. That's why
I know, but you have to think about the other thing too, because Bob's not getting any younger.
No, I agree, Russ. But this signing is meant, to get them playoff competitive. Holy moly, England scored. They're winning 2-1 now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's expected. The Bruins signed Connor Clifton, so he's back for a 2-year deal.
Oh, wow.
Annual cap hit of 2.25. Here's the thing. The one thing I could say about Clifton is anytime there's an argument about size on the blue line, I'm like, yes. If you're like 6 foot or under, the odds are against you a little bit, but Clifton's been able to beat the odds.
Well, Dave, we know about Clifton in Buffalo. He signed in Buffalo because Don Granato was the coach. And then when the switchover happened to Lindy, I don't think Lindy didn't like him, but I think Lindy likes bigger defensemen, and Connor Clifton is a smaller defenseman. And then last year they flipped him to Pittsburgh to get Connor Timmins. They paid Pittsburgh a 2nd-round pick to take Clifton off them so they could bring in Connor Timmins. So I
don't know. Did that even work out? I'm not sure.
No, I mean, for the time that Timmins played, when he didn't have a broken leg, he played well. But I mean, let's just say this: he was more of a contributor than Clifton would have been because Ruff simply wouldn't have played him.
Timmins was a rough guy for sure.
Yeah,
that was one of the moves that he was involved in, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I mean, Clifton will probably do well going back to the Bruins and playing in a bottom pairing role. It's funny, they, The Boston Bruins are Buffalo East now.
Yes.
Casey Middlestat, Henry Okiharu, now Clifton, and JJ Paterka, who they just got in a trade from Utah. So,
and Kevin Adams.
And Kevin Adams, who still we do not know what the role that he has been hired for in Boston. It's like, is he a special advisor? Is he assistant GM? Nobody seems to know. But yeah, so everybody, all Buffalo's cast-offs are going to the Boston Bruins, which is
the one thing I didn't know is that Clifton's from Long Branch, New Jersey, and that's like the amusement park capital of the world. They're known for that.
Well, the reason that he, if memory serves, the reason he signed with the Sabres, because him and Granato had a relationship going back to like when he was 15 or 16 years old, playing in New Jersey and like not the USHL, but like in like minor hockey. And they'd known each other for that long, and that was one of the reasons that he signed with. And remember, this was coming out of the year that the Sabres missed the playoffs by a point. Their big moves that year was to keep the entire roster, meaning bring back Opozo, Gergensons, Tyson Jost, all these guys. And their only moves were to upgrade on the blue line by adding Eric Johnson, who was washed, and Connor Clifton, who after a year was not part of their plans. So,
Mike, your best guess, how much cap space is left with the Leafs?
Okay, 4 for Roslovic, 7 for Bobrovsky. We don't know on Sissons. Who was the other signing? They had another signing. Hold on.
Well, you just guesstimate anyhow.
I'd say about 11 million right now.
Okay. So Terry 3G says, who could you get to clear the net? Jamie Alexiak. That's who you could get.
Yeah.
Big guy, big strong guy, can still skate a bit.
Can he skate? Is he?
No, I mean, good enough for what that position is going to be. He's better than Hal Gill.
Jesus.
Hal Gill didn't have to skate anything, and he got the job done.
The only thing was Hal Gill was he had pontoons. He didn't have skates.
Right.
And he was really slow but really effective as a penalty killer. And then after he was in Toronto, he went like 2 or 3 other places and was still effective. So it's like, some guys can get away with that.
Yes.
Big.
Well, I mean, Luke Shen has no speed. We know that.
No, he doesn't. Let's see here. Yeah. Lance Hornby says Roslovic, who played mostly center with Edmonton, scored in back-to-back 20-goal seasons. Be a 6th NHL team since being a first-rounder of the Winnipeg Jets, former U.S. NDDP teammate of Austin Matthews. Second to him in scoring in 2014-15.
The problem with Roslovic, and it's not his problem, is they rushed him to the NHL. If you look at him, he didn't play that many games in college. He went right to the NHL, and he struggled a bit. And so he could have had a higher ceiling, I believe, but he was never able to reach it. It's great that he's going to be with Matthews. We'll see if he plays on the same line, but if they use him as a center, he won't.
Right. That's why I said he's a Max Domi replacement, because he can be third-line center or first or second-line winger.
Yeah, you just have to have somebody defensively responsible on his line for sure.
Right, which on the top line would be Matthews. But I mean, the one thing that a lot of people have pointed out is that Matthews got an inordinate amount of defensive zone starts last year because Berube, he's their best defensive center, but he's also your best offensive center. So you'd want to start him more in offensive zone starts than defensive zones.
Yes.
But Berube did the exact opposite.
No, but on the road, like, you can only control that so much anyhow. It's at home, sure.
So I don't know what this means in terms of I think they brought him in as a 3C. So they brought him in as a 3C, and they have Sissons as a 4C. Then you could still see a Patrick Kane signing with the Leafs. Esmer in the chat is like, will Hildeby play this season? I think there's a possibility they carry 3 goalies. They're gonna have to keep Hildeby unless they want to keep calling up Akhtiamov if one of these guys gets hurt, and all Stolarz breathes and he gets hurt. So we know that that's the case. So I think they're going to keep Hildeby and keep 3 goals.
Well, they're going to keep 3. No. I still think they're looking at those 2 guys as their future. But now with Bob there, they don't have to, overplay Hildeby. And Akhtiamov may go up and down as the year because they're close. They can finagle the roster a little bit, and that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, Hildeby will end up playing 15 to 20 games with them because Stolarz will be out by November. I'm joking, but I'm not.
Well, that's why I said Akhtiamov can be up and down, because when Stolarz does get hurt, that's what they'll do with him. But here's the other thing, Mike. I started to talk about this with Dev Camp. Basically, there's probably someone in every Dev Camp. I saw one team made a signing, and that's going to be their e-bug. And I didn't realize that the e-bugs are actually going to travel with the team too.
Yes. But the funny thing was, at the time, and I think Dave wasn't there for the season-ending media availability because he was working his other job. Yarmo said, "Well, we're going to carry 3 goalies, then that guy could be our e-bug." And it's like, no, it doesn't work that way. I mean, I think he thought that you could have Colton Ellis as his e-bug, and I'm like, no. It's, you're going to have this guy who's traveling with you who might be the 2026 version of David Ayers.
How old's David Ayers, Mike? He could be the guy.
42 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, 48. No, he can't be the guy.
He can't be. Vladislav Kolyachonok.
Yeah, sure, Mike. I know him. Yeah.
Former Arizona Coyote defenseman.
I know him a little bit, but not enough to. Who's he with?
Signed a 1-year deal with the Devils, as announced by Daniel Milstein, breaking his own news.
Milstein is just killing today. Like, this is a Daniel Milstein day.
It's a Milgasm here on the.
It's unbelievable. Like, he's bringing them all in, man. But I don't know, Mike. If we're fishing in the lake, it's getting a little thin.
Okay, Colton Sissons, 2 years at 4.25.
That's right at the edge of what I'd want to pay him, but it's okay.
So, but 2 years. Okay, so
2 years is good.
So they paid Colton Sissons more than they paid Roslovic.
Yeah.
So okay. So it's
more of a defined role. That's why
they've got about $7 million in cap space right now.
They could bring in Alexiak, bring him in.
Yeah, or they could bring in Kane.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring in Kane.
Well, I know you wouldn't, but I'm saying I think that
he was better last year than he was the year before, but he still had trouble in the playoffs in the end.
Patrick Kane, they didn't make the playoffs.
No, I'm thinking of somebody else. Sorry about that. But he had trouble at the end of the season. I know that.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's why and he only played like 60 some odd. Okay, here are the let's see here. No, please. Somebody just said, I wonder if there could be a reunion between Patrick Kane and the Chicago Blackhawks.
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to go there.
Go down that road with all the stuff that has come up with him and Taves and Stan Bowman.
Yeah. Like here's Patrick Kane's last 4 games of the season. Against Philly, he had 3 points, was a +1. Then he had no points against New Jersey, a -1. An assist against Tampa, nothing. And then a -3 against Florida last game of the year. Like you got to be careful with Patrick Kane now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking 1-year incentive-based deal like he signed with Detroit last year.
Yeah.
And look at, Detroit just imploded down the stretch. I mean, they were, they looked like a lock to make the playoffs at one point, and then it just all fell apart.
Well, Larkin got hurt, and
right.
So
here the chat room says, Kane had 24 points in his last 25 games. Sure, but that 3-point game against Philly helped. But then he didn't do anything after that. He had 1 point. So I just think he's because of his age. I mean, there was a point where I remember he was sparking them, but I worry about his age down the stretch. What would he do in the playoffs? That's the question.
Yeah, I think Toronto might be done for the day simply because I think they want to leave some room here for, the players that maybe fall through the cracks and you can get on a cheaper deal. Also, they have to keep some room if this Werenski thing actually happens. And there'll be
That's the whole thing. They can't really rush to anything until they're out or they get Werenski.
Well, I mean, if they're flipping Nyes in a deal for Werenski, then that's money going out, and if it's
Right.
$2 million cap increase. But we don't know. It's like, I mean, this could all be a bluff, and Werenski ends up playing like most of, or going into the season, and then it's like a Quinn Hughes situation where he gets traded during the year. But I think right now, we get the hint that maybe they want to resolve this thing if they get a deal that is
So, Mike, NHL Rumor Report is quoting Dreger, so I guess they were listening to him on the radio saying that he thinks Nikishin's ending up in the West, and he knows St. Louis is a contender.
okay.
I mean, Nikishin, listen, I mean, he had a really good year last year. His shot is noticeable. He has a big body. Like, he'll help the Blues.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what would be going back. Are they? I mean, is Carolina looking for? I mean, they I don't think they want to take futures.
No.
Would it be like a Jake Neighbors or?
Yeah, Neighbors actually was rumored to go, so that would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, he's one more year on a contract, making $3.75 million. I think he's a pretty decent player. I'm just looking up what he had statistically last year. He had 15.
Wait, Mike, the light bulb went off for me. I know who. Jordan Binnington.
Ooh, yeah.
That's who.
Yeah. See, that was what I was hoping that Toronto was going to do, but that would entail them trading the first
Be right
round.
back.
Yeah, that would entail them trading the first round pick that they got from Colorado to get Binnington. I don't think they wanted to do that, Dave. So, yeah, no, Binnington to Carolina makes too much sense. It's like, then you got him and Bussy, and then you got your tandem for next year, and now you've got two goalies of one Stanley Cups. They don't have to re-sign Binnington to a long-term extension because he's got 1 year left in his contract, and if you give up assets to get him, and you just let him walk in free agency, I mean, you still have Bussy, but let's see here.
And what about Freddie? Is he definitely going to retire, or?
It sounds like he's either going to retire or he's not going to be coming back to Carolina. I mean, honestly, it's like, I am convinced, and obviously I can't prove it one way or the other. I am convinced they would have lost to Vegas had Anderson not gotten hurt and that they had gone to Bussy. Bussy was provided he flummoxed Vegas enough that it threw them off, and he played really well I think it was the last 3 games to win them that Stanley Cup. And they were down 2-1, and they went to Bussy and they won 3 games in a row. So, let's see. We'll probably end the show in about 10 minutes here. Just wait for. We've had some significant action, but there are still some players out there, and I think we're waiting for some deals to filter out, but maybe that'll take a little while. Dave, today is for Hockey News, I do like little anniversary things as posts to the system, like to this day in Sabres history. Well, obviously it's July 1st. This day in Sabres history in 2010. Was it 2010? No, 2011. So July 1st, 2011. The Buffalo Sabres signed Billy Lano.
Boy.
Dramatic pause. Billy Lano.
And that was one that Terry Pagula was believed to be involved in.
Well,
too involved in this case.
That and the Christian Ehrhoff signing.
Right.
And I believe they ended up using their, because I think each team had 2 compliance buyouts coming out of the lockout, and they used those 2 compliance buyouts on Ehrhoff, and Billy Leno.
Right.
I mean, he had no good season. He had 10 goals in 135 games. Now, compared to today's money, he was making, I think, 4.5. But even in today's money, that's a bad contract. So
He scored a winning goal for the Flyers against the Sabres.
Well,
That's the reason.
Well, yeah. He I mean, Russ would have been witness to this, because when in Philadelphia, when they made the Cup final in 2010, he had like 22 points. He was one of their best players. But the difference was, Buffalo brought him in, from what I remember, as a second line center.
Correct. And he wasn't a center.
I mean, Mike Babcock knew that in Detroit. That's why they moved him to Philadelphia, and he was playing on the wing in Philadelphia and was very effective. But they brought him in here to be a second line center, and I don't think they ever moved him back from center until it was really too late. And then, like, I was reading the sort of the background on him because I had to refresh my memory. Ted Nolan, in that disastrous 2014 year, when the whole Pat LaFontaine situation, and they bring in LaFontaine and Ted Nolan to finish out the season after they fire Lindy Ruff, or fire Ron Ralston. Excuse me, they fired
Ron Ralston.
Yes, with the gardening gloves. Nolan benched Leno because Leno was simply not, didn't look like he was trying. I mean, I would assume that was the case. Let's see here. Sorry, just distracted because the little notification popped up here to see if Scott Lawton is heading back to the LA Kings. Russ is right.
So they got it done.
So his avenue was closed as soon as the Leafs signed Sissons and Roslovic. There was a chance he might have gone back to Toronto. I'll be curious. I'll bet you 4 years, $5 million for 4 years. So
that sounds about right.
Tanner Lasinski, 3 years at $900K for Vegas. I don't know if he's an NHLer anymore. So, it's starting to slow down here. So we'll give it a few more minutes, wait for Russ to come back.
Okay.
Provide, we'll keep providing soccer updates because nobody really cares. But England did win 2-1. England got a scare thrown into them. So now, for all the soccer fans out there, England plays Mexico in Mexico. That's going to be tough. First of all, it's like, I would hate to be at these World Cup soccer games where the temperature is like 100, which it is in Mexico right now. It's like, it was bad enough like they did in Newark, New Jersey. I think it was in the 90s yesterday. So, and it was in the high 80s here in Buffalo. Well, okay. Other than the Devin Lee, they finally moved out Levi. Sabres haven't done anything yet.
No, I mean, other than the Rochester depth of Gilbert, that was it. And they got the Zellweger contract done.
Right. I'm talking about like external. They
no.
Yeah, they added Gilbert and they got rid of Levi, which was expected.
Right.
But now Boone Jenner is still out there. Boone Jenner was rumored to be an option for Toronto, but I think they didn't want him because of durability issues, and this didn't seem to be a fit, even though his name was connected to Toronto. But he is connected to Buffalo, and Buffalo hasn't done anything. I think it's a distinct possibility that the Sabres sign Boone Jenner.
I think that would actually be a good signing for Buffalo. I think that's
And remember last year, even though he wasn't general manager, he had some sway in terms of player acquisitions or advising as such. The Sabres went out in free agency and signed Justin Danforth, who played almost his entire career in Columbus.
Right.
So is it a stretch to say that they're going to bring in Boone Jenner as well? I don't think it's a stretch, but
No,
we'll see.
that could happen. That could very well happen.
Teddy Bluger to Toronto.
Oh,
Okay, let's see. And I believe Teddy Bluger was on Vegas last year. So let's just see here.
Right.
Memory serves. Teddy. Yes, folks. We're doing this in real time. So me looking up. Oh no, Teddy Bluger was in Vancouver. Excuse me.
okay.
This might be more of just a depth 13th forward type signing because he played 82 games 2 years ago, only played 35 last year. He's probably a fourth liner penalty killer type. Simply lineup depth. He's not somebody who moves the needle significantly. He did play in Vegas a few years ago. That's what. But
Mike, I just want to tell you about a text I got from Bobby Bonilla saying, "Thanks again to the New York Mets for giving me over $1 million through 2035."
That joke is getting old now. It's got
The money's not though. Look how much money that is.
Hey, I'll take it. Just while you were gone, the Leafs signed Teddy Bluger.
How much?
The unknown.
I like Teddy. I mean, again, like I said, Sissons went just beyond what I would be willing to pay him in a normal year.
I would say if they're paying in Bluger anything more than 1.5,
And it's too much.
then it's too much. I mean, he only played half a season with Vancouver. I think he ran into some injuries last year. But
I mean, it would have been interesting if he'd have gone to the Rangers just so you could do like a series, 2 Latvians in New York, and come on, there's something to it.
I think he's 13th forward insurance, maybe fourth line insurance.
I mean, he will play on the fourth line if there's a spot. Like he could fill a spot.
I don't know. I mean, if he's a penalty killer or if
He is.
then that's definitely the role.
He's really a good penalty killer, actually.
There you go. I mean, I think Sissons is a penalty killer as well.
He is.
So there you go. Their fourth line is like Steven Lorenz, Colton Sissons, and Teddy Bluger.
Yeah. He scored a 3-on-5 once in 2021, just to give you an example how good he is as a penalty killer.
Yeah, that's maybe 1.75 for 2 years. It doesn't say term. Maybe it's a 1-year deal. Maybe.
Yeah, but he's going to be on the penalty kill. He had 3 shorthanded goals this season.
Wow. Scott Lawton heading back to the LA Kings. Shocking.
I have to just slow clap to the Kings for no real reason at all.
Yeah, Peter Laviolette will love trying to squeeze as much offense out of Scott Lawton as he did. Laviolette in Philadelphia for a long time.
No, he'll love Scott Lawton, and he will overplay him like John Tortorella did. But again, it's just one of those things where I texted a buddy who covers the Kings, and I'm just like, and he acknowledged that today might not be their best day.
Yeah. I think we're going to end it here because it's slowing down a bit. So
yeah, like I said, we've overfished this lake.
Yeah, unfortunately, if it was Lake Erie, it would probably have 5,000 gills on that fish.
Oh, we would find all
From-
kinds of stuff at the bottom. Imagine if we trudged Lake Erie. Come on, man.
all the dioxin and everything from anyway.
When it was on fire in Cleveland,
Well, that's the other end of the lake. With Cleveland, you can't imagine what shit that they pumped in there, like the Browns. Okay, so yep, that's a tip to the cap to our friend Shane Malloy and his favorite team. Okay, Vince is saying 2 years, 2.5 for Bluger.
I mean, it's a little bit of an overpay, but it's not terrible because it is hard to find good penalty killers, honestly.
Right. And they have Elliot just said 2 years at 2.5. That's not, I mean,
Vince had it before Elliott. Good for Vince.
No, Vince got it from Elliot and just,
Are you sure, Mike?
Yes. I'll go out on a limb. Sorry, Vince, no offense, but I will opt to say that Elliot Friedman, the most tied in man in professional hockey, had it before Vince 8924. Going out on a limb. E5.
All right. I mean, that's a big statement.
E5. Okay, for the departed Anthony Mangione, for the departed Jan Levine, for Dave Reichert, who thankfully is not departed, and Russ Cohen, who I could care less about.
Someday
we all will. Someday we all will. I'm Mike Magello. Thank you for watching the Free Agent Frenzy here on Hockey Hot Stove, and we'll see you on Sunday with our next edition of Off the Post.